Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and with Stats. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios and beautiful and hot. Said it yesterday too. Memphis, Tennessee. I am former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producing the program is our man Bryant Dacus on Twitter at Bryant_Dacus. Bryant, you hanging in there?
I'm trying to.
I hear you. And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter at Brett Norsworthy. Brett, how are you?
I'm well, Gabe. Good afternoon to you guys. Good afternoon to everyone. And it's going to be fun now until 6 o'clock. Big Ten doing their thing today.
How about it? Kevin Warren stepping up to the plate, talking since for the first time really since we've heard about the USC UCLA news. He loves content from AM to PM.
He's got it.
He's got content from AM to PM.
Can you imagine their Saturday of college basketball? Whoo, it can roll. It'll roll from 11 to tipping at 11. It'll go 11 a.m. to 1 a.m.
It's honestly insane to think about. Again, and this is totally beside the point, and I think people make it way too big of a point when this comes up, but the traveling schedules, I think in certain situations, if you're going East Coast to West Coast to East Coast, you might have to leave a day early. You might have to.
I never knew
just for the sake of it.
USC always do that for their October date when they go to South Bend. Lane Kiffin was talking about
right.
That they would always go, and it's not many times the NCAA allows that. A college team can't go 4 or 5 days early, like a pro team can.
Right.
A lot of times, especially late in the year, if Bill Belichick and the Patriots, if they have a West Coast game, say on Sunday against the 49ers, they may leave from Boston after that home game and go out there
they can
on
go
Monday
immediately.
and Tuesday.
They can go immediately.
Colleges can't.
No.
And I don't even think the NCAA
Well, you have to put them
allows
out, and like for example, Rutgers. Are they going to want to afford to keep them out there for? And also from a school perspective, it would be stupid. You have to take classes still. But would you want to afford to keep them out there for 5 days in a hotel, plus the travel fees
at Ole Miss, and it had to be
buses, everything else?
It had to be, and was according to kickoff time when you could leave, when you could depart, playing at Fresno and at Cal Berkeley. Went a day early, but there was a certain. It was according to the kickoff time on both of them before you could depart.
Yeah. Now, Big Ten Media Days, we have plenty of coverage of that we'll have to get to. We'll talk with David Cohn at 3:30 from Crane & Company with Jake Crane about Big Ten Media Days and also SEC Media Days. He was there with us last week. We got to catch up with him.
Whole Crane team was there last week, wasn't it?
It was. They were walking around with their chest puffed out. Gotta love it. Now,
good guys.
Yeah, they are. They are. Also, NFL training camps. We had 4 start yesterday. All 28. The rest of the 28 start today. We have, and we'll get to it about 4:30. Just a bunch of training camp notes and NFL notes to get to. A lot of news in the way of NFL. Also, we have some Tiger football scheduling news. In-state, home and home coming back around in football, basketball. We have some scheduling news 2022 as far as the matchups in the ESPN Invitational. We have figured it out. It'll be Seton Hall. We'll talk about those matchups and what that tournament will look like as well. And also, first wave of FedEx St. Jude Championship declarations have been made. What are they so far? We got Rory, Scotty, and Cam Young are the 3 I have seen so far.
I hope Scotty Scheffler shows in his green jacket. I hope Justin Thomas brings the Wanamaker Trophy.
Yeah.
We can only hope that Matt Fitzpatrick will bring the U.S. Open Trophy and Cam Smith bring the Claret Jug. We're going to have all 4 major winners in Memphis in 2 weeks.
Gotta love it. I mentioned David Cohn at 3:30. We'll bring him on to talk some college football, Big Ten Media Days. 4 o'clock, as normal, on a Tuesday, bring on Brent Beard from First Coast News. And we'll talk some college football with him. And probably we'll talk a little bit of Jaguars as well with them opening camp. 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant joins us to talk NFL training camp, NFL
today.
everything.
I'm getting live photos from him.
Did he send to the Memphis guys? Because I know that we basically have it. He's up
on
there.
Memphis watch.
He's up there in Memphis Northeast. The University of Memphis Northeast is what the Steelers have sort of figured out. They literally.
And another great day of NFL Network all day covering everything.
Tomlin really has sort of gone out of his way, and he knows.
Oh, he loved his
knows
time
what,
here.
But he knows what we have here in Memphis when it comes to some
and
football
he
talent.
Phil Stukenborg would always tell when he was beat guy forever for the paper and just a fabulous person. Mm-hmm. And he would say it didn't matter what time you pulled onto that office complex parking lot or what time you left, Tomlin's car was there.
Yeah.
And same at Arkansas State, and look what it got him. I mean, he's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame someday.
Oh, no doubt about it. And like the coaching jobs he's done the past 2 years, impressive as hell. And I don't know, like people will look at it and say, "Oh, these are some down years for him," but with Big Ben where he was, with the injuries he's had to have,
2 years
he had
Duck
Hodges, Mason Rudolph rolling in and out. I mean, unbelievable.
No shot at Ben Roethlisberger. But the Cardinals, we're seeing that play out. That's so much fun when you have that legendary person try it one more time.
And you almost don't want to say anything bad. You just don't want. You want to say, okay, let's live this out and let him go off in the sunset. But you know they're not
getting it done.
Exactly. You know you're not winning a championship. You know you have no shot.
The Steelers will be better at quarterback this year from almost any of the 2 or 3 options they have than they were last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard
as long as it's not Mason Rudolph. But I think top 2. I don't know how you. I know how you are with Mitch Trubisky. Kenny Pickett should be okay when he actually gets the hold of a system.
2022 Mitch Trubisky will be better than 2021 Big Ben.
Yeah.
That's sad.
that's kind of wild to even think about. And that's why I've been sort of trying to talk people out of, this is going to be the Steelers' first losing record since, 2003? Because I just with Tomlin, I've been predisposed to believe no losing record is possible with him coaching that team. It's just what it's become. Now, if you want to hit us up on all of these topics, AutoZone Listener Line is there for you. 901-360-8255. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Text us questions, comments, concerns. Also, watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports56WHBQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and go to our website, sports56whbq.com. We are still working on podcasts. We will get those up as soon as possible.
They're up.
They're back
today,
up.
Way to go, this show will be the first show back up
Shout
on
out. Podcasts are back. That's great news. Yeah. Top story of the day. Podcasts are back up. But also go to look at our featured audio as well. We have all our stuff from SEC Media Days last week in there. Now let's start with Big Ten Media Days. Thank you.
A lot of gifts.
Thank you to Big Ten Media Days for bringing up college football playoff expansion. I know we brought it up at SEC Media Days as well. And
go big or go home.
I want to start with what Gene Smith said, obviously the AD at Ohio State. He said on college football expansion, don't ignore the possibility of a 16-team playoff, and that's what you say you are fully on board with.
I mean, it took forever to get to 2. Yeah, to 2. And then it took forever to get to 4. Let's make the jump in. Gene Smith, with a lot of history of working with the men's basketball tournament, I know his chair a few years back. I think his job as chair was great that year. The bracket was a mess, but nevertheless, I want to go large. I want to go 1 versus 16. I want to incorporate the bowls in a rotation format. I think it would work in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl to host one of those 8 first-round games. I don't know what I think last year. What would 1 versus 16 be?
1 versus 16 would have been Alabama versus Oklahoma
in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Mm-hmm. First-round matchup.
How about that?
That's a damn good 16 versus 1 if you ask me. I know Oklahoma wasn't on that level, but 16 versus 1, Alabama, Oklahoma will take that.
So you need 8 first-round games. You'd need 4 second-round games, and then the finals probably at that bid site like they're doing now that wouldn't necessarily be a bowl. So that's 12 bowls, 8, 4, 2. That's right. That'd be 12 bowls. They would be getting a lot better games than they're getting now.
8-9 would be Mississippi. Oklahoma State. It would be Ole Miss, Oklahoma State.
Would that, imagine that in the
6-11 Ohio
Houston Bowl.
6-11 Ohio State versus Utah. Love that.
Ohio State, Utah in the Holiday Bowl.
I like the thought of it, and you're talking all at large, so no automatic qualifiers.
And then there would be teams that always would have a game. Rose Bowl would always have a semifinal game. Now, will the Rose Bowl move off? They have to be January 1, except for when it falls on a Sunday and they're January 2. I don't know. I think Sugar and Cotton and Fiesta would always be
Rose
in a mix.
It would be interesting to see how Big Ten would get involved with that Rose Bowl situation and Pac-12. I sort of wonder if they'd want to keep the sanctity around that game.
They'll do everything to try it.
Yeah, but like at the same time, if it's if it's a a first round game that decides a playoff standing, I don't see why that would be a bad thing.
I don't think that'd be a first round game. I don't think that
it would be a quarterfinal or semifinal, whatever it may be.
4 or 2.
Yeah.
Am I getting my math right?
I don't know if there's enough bowls to really do all these designations as we continue to.
Well, you rotate them. Like one year the AutoZone Liberty Bowl hosts that, one year they don't.
And in your situation, it was 16 at large, no buys. No buys at all.
I want 16
1,
at
16,
large.
2, 15, 3, 14.
I'll take it, however, but I would prefer just the 16 best teams.
I'm still on board with 12. And this
I'm
is
fine with 12.
This is certainly where I'm at, and this is where a lot of people disagree with me. I'm with automatic qualifiers. I like the top 6 conference champions being automatic qualifiers. Now, last year,
it's not a deal breaker for me, but I would prefer just at large. But I'll go with that.
And people would say, well, not every conference is built the same, and I tend to agree with that. SEC and Big Ten are going to be on the top, but
that's what season's for.
But also. If you never give these guys a seat at the table, if you never let them get to that point, I don't know how they're ever going to catch up and we're ever going to have competition at the highest level in college football.
See, I think most years, as you get down to 4, 5, or 6, they would be they would be an at-large. They
personally
would be an easy bid.
I like the thought of
Cincinnati would have been easy last year.
I like
Memphis
Cincinnati.
Tigers would have been close in 2019.
And I like the thought of Cincinnati getting a bye. First round. I like the top 4 conference champions getting a bye. And last year it would have been Bama, Michigan, Cincy, and then Baylor would be the 4th highest rated conference champion. I thought Baylor was a great team. You got to see Baylor straight up. They ended 7th last year in the poll, but the 11-2, very solid with David Aranda.
Gabe, I don't know that enough's made of that game-saving, championship-saving tackle Baylor made on the goal line on the 2-point play against Oklahoma State. Or I don't see them in the Sugar Bowl. They don't end that year that way. That was a big play
that was
on
huge.
Championship Saturday last year.
That was huge. But then 5 through 12 in a 12 team would be Utah, Pitt, Georgia at 7, Notre Dame 8, Ohio State 9, Ole Miss 10, Oklahoma State 11, and then Michigan State 12. Then you'd go 5, 12,
Georgia fell to
6,
7
11,
lose an SEC game.
7, 10, 8, 9, and then match those up 1 through 4. I like the thought of more inclusion. And people will say, oh, well, you'll end. You always hear this. You hear constantly, well, in the end of the day, it's still going to be the same 4 to 6 teams. And I tend to agree with that sentiment. That's what we've seen through the college football playoff, but I think that's a bad faith argument. I think at the end of the day, if you don't ever include people in there, you're never going to have new faces representing their conference and their university. So I don't see why inclusion needs to be a bad thing. We have to argue in bad faith about inclusion.
I don't think it's a bad thing at all, and I think it will grow. But I don't want to do it piecemeal. I don't want to go 4 to 8. Let's go big, 12. But my preference is 16. And now after that it's capped at 16.
We surprised Gene Smith said 16. AD at Ohio State saying 16?
A little bit.
That's interesting to me.
A little bit surprised, but I'm glad he's doing it because forever the old Rose Bowl alliance, Big Ten, Pac-12, that was always the stopper of playoff because of their protection of the granddaddy of them all, that bowl game. The SEC has always been. Slive was out there. Kramer was out there. Roy Kramer got the conference championship games going. They want to play it out. The SEC wants to play it out on the field because I don't think they're scared of any format, whether it's polls, UPI, AP, 2 teams, 4 teams, whatever. I know they're not scared of it because I think they think on the field they'll even be better. Now, if it's just at larges, you can get ready for a heavy dose from the SEC.
Oh, no question about it. And that's why when we talked with Greg Sankey last week, when we heard Greg Sankey with his public comments, he made it very clear, I'm not into these subsidies, these competitive subsidies of allowing automatic qualifiers, because the Pac-12 champion is not near as good as the SEC champion. They shouldn't be granted the exact same, or the Big Ten champion for that matter. Now, one thing I was thinking about, Notre Dame is the big fish we've talked about in realignment, right? If we expand to 12, if we expand to 16, How much motivation are they going to have to really align with a conference? None.
They're in.
None. Now, if it's 4 or 8, or I guess 12 would be that line where you have to decide, but I feel like the more teams
they've
you
gotten
include,
in at 4, so they're not scared of 12.
The more teams you include, the less motivation they have to align with the conference.
Now, my thing about incorporating the bowls is you're asking a lot of these fan bases, because 2 fan bases have to go to a lot of different cities over about a 6-week stretch, spend a lot of money. We already are in college sports, but it's just 2 that will have to do that, and those 2, they can afford it.
Mm-hmm. They can,
and you'll want to.
Yeah, but with all these things, we just have to sort of wait and see. Now, the one thing I saw this morning from coaches at Big Ten Media Days, Kirk Ferentz, did you see what he had to say in his opening comments? He said he's very unhappy with the direction of college football. And honestly, I mean, I
believe him.
I believe him. I see it from his view, where he's never recruited all that well, and all this NIL stuff's going to hurt him in the grand scheme. He's never had to pay players. He's never had to deal with anything like that. And he's had that sort of, how do I put it? His way. His way, the Iowa way, does not lend itself to the new era of college football.
2 coaches since 1979.
Right. So,
Shades Fry and Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a stretch that we won't see the likes of that again for a long time. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-334-9673. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
That's Big Ten Media Days, and Kevin Warren sort of speaking how he wanted to. And it's different because I talk about Greg Sankey and how he spoke at SEC Media Days. It was not bright and shiny, let's include everybody. That's not what he wanted to do. The messaging is very clear from Greg Sankey. We're going to do what's in the best interest of the SEC, and I don't really care where this ends up. If it ends in a super conference where we leave people out, that's fine with me. Kevin Warren is not speaking that way, but he did get to speak on behalf of his decision to bring in USC and UCLA, which people are lauding for good reason. And I think that's a overall good move for them. But he said we'll be in 4 time zones in 2024. When USC and UCLA join, we'll be able to provide content, which I thought was a funny word, by the way, content. Games, sport, I don't know, matches, whatever you want to say. We'll be able to provide content all the way from morning into the night, and that is the truth of it. Now, when he got asked about expansion again for the Big Ten, what he had to say. Now, Greg Sankey, when you listen to the SEC, he said, we don't have any sense of urgency in finding new members. We're fine. We're in a position of power. Kevin Warren said, we're not closed down on expansion. We will only expand the Big Ten again for what he said were the right reasons and the right time. So if Notre Dame came calling and said they wanted to align, hey, that's the right reason and the right time. I think the right reason would be money. The right time would be money. If there is money involved, the decisions will be made to expand, and Kevin Warren made that abundantly clear.
Yeah, and that goes for the SEC as well. And I think everybody, just being straight and candid, would confess to that. My top story, the Big 3. Gabe, you talk about we know 4 to 6, 8 teams that are always in it, but I'm with you. I still want to see it played out. But we know going into this year, we have a clear Big 3. Defending champ Georgia, dynastic Bama, and always right there in the Big Ten, Ohio State. Yep. I think everybody's got them in a college football playoff Final Four. Who will that 4th team be, and how big's the pool? How big's the pool for that potential 4th team? Is it 4 teams, 6 teams, 10 teams? Is it bigger rather than smaller? Is it Utah? Are they in it? Clemson? Are they in it? And is it any way that 3 out of the 4 from the SEC could be in it? And it is. And here's how. 1 loss A&M to Bama October 8th. Bama goes to the SEC championship game, so they can't get scratched up conference championship weekend. Undefeated Georgia, undefeated Bama. Well, you know both of them are in, right? Mm-hmm. And then 1 loss, Texas A&M. And we will hear outrage if that happens.
I don't like it. If it plays out that way, though, I can see the argument. I don't like it, but I would be able to see where that could potentially happen.
That's the only way.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day has to do with the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Obviously got his massive contract. We know about it, $230.5 million, $160 million guaranteed. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just get his records, so you can see his contract. I'm pretty sure that's just Arizona reporters doing their job.
Is that all public information?
I think, but there is an addendum in the big old $230.5 million contract to Kyler Murray that requires 4 hours of, quote, independent study per game week. Now, being a guy who played ball, who loved film, like just couldn't get enough of it, loved sitting in my room watching it, used to have the Apple AirPlay with my buddies. I'd bring the old lineman over and we'd watch and we'd sort of talk it through it, that type of thing. I was a film junkie. Film is absolutely necessary. For a quarterback that just got paid the second most on a per-year value salary, that's very uncomfortable, if that has to be stated. Very uncomfortable. Unheard of.
I think it's pretty cheap who leaked it. If it was leaked.
It's unheard of. Now, I'll just bring up an example of Russell Wilson, and this could be complete falsity, but I do know for a fact Russell Wilson loves to watch film, and he is very much, I know this is overused, but he's very much a student of the game. That's who Russell Wilson is. He said before he got traded to the Broncos, when he knew it was about to happen, he ran through full game film for all 17 games the Broncos played last year twice. Said he rolled through every single play of every single game twice when he knew he was going to be a Bronco. So the good guys go into the film room and get it done. I guess there's a good thought and a bad thought with this. The good thought is, well, if he hasn't been doing this and he's still been Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2-time Pro Bowler, and he hasn't been a film guy this whole time, the best is yet to come. That's the good way of looking at it. The bad thought is, if he hadn't been doing this now, how serious is he actually going to take film? And if he's not willing to go the extra mile right now, what makes you think he can pass the Aaron Rodgers of the world, the Russell Wilsons of the world, the other guys?
Someone in the
elite
Cardinals
guys
leaked this knowing they can get out of that contract if it doesn't work out, and they can blame it on, well, he didn't do the study.
I got to say, 4 hours of independent study per week is baby numbers. Baby numbers.
What year in football were you when you knew how to watch film, Gabe?
I would say my redshirt freshman year. Once I started playing and started to understand the system and how you were blocking certain things up. But it does take a while. But if you're in the NFL, you better know how to watch it. Yeah. It's just about your want to in watching it. And Kyler Murray has to get that, it sounds like.
My not top story, trade deadline looms in Major League Baseball. And how did we get here with Juan Soto? How did we get here with the Washington Nationals? Just 3 years ago, 2019, the last year of our lives before COVID, they were winning the World Series in our nation's capital. First in war, first in peace, and first in baseball. Kind of the old saying, but finally first and not last in all those, as they used to refer to the Washington Senators. Now, the Nationals look like they're going to start over. They moved on from Bryce Harper. Look, we're not talking about an Oakland or a Pittsburgh or even a Baltimore market. We're talking about a great ballpark 6 blocks from our nation's capital, building in a very affluent area, and they're kind of going on the cheap. Next out in Washington, Dave Martinez.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's coming. They just haven't been good. The Strasburg stuff, that fell on its face. He was good for a while.
How did he get here so fast with them, though? Because they never got to really enjoy their title. You know, didn't have the pomp and circumstance in 2020. But 2021, we moved on, and not forgot about it, but moved on.
It's honestly, looking at their team now, it's amazing to think that they're not that far removed from a championship. It's crazy to think.
3 little years.
It's insane to think that I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Also in the MLB, we do have to see the Cardinals start their 2-game set there with the Blue Jays without Goldschmidt and Arenado. Not looking forward to it all that much. But I did misspeak yesterday. I said that they had one of the hardest strength schedule left. They do have one of the easiest, but they do have series coming up: Yankees, Dodgers, Braves, Brewers, Blue Jays.
Yankees at Busch Stadium.
That's gonna be tough. They have to and they have to go in and win some of those games. They can't just count on beating the Cubs. I think they have 11 games with the Cubs. They can't just count on that.
Cubs have been tough on them so far this year.
They have.
That hasn't been easy. I think the Cubs probably have the lead this year in the series. They played Toronto 2 games at Busch Stadium back in May. Remember, I was at those games.
Yeah.
Would not have won the one they won without Paul Goldschmidt in the bottom of the 10th. The walk-off.
Just an unfortunate time to deal with something like this. It really is. It really is. And I know that they're a half game up, I think, on the Phillies still in the wild card, but that's a small half game. That's a small half game. Now, let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. No MLB coming up next. We have some college football to discuss. We talk some Big Ten with our man from Crane & Company, with Jake Crane. We talk with David Cohn next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hey, Jeff Allen, could things get any hotter in Memphis? Summer's here and I'm ready for a road trip.
Then come see me at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah, where the deals are hotter than the weather. 2022 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, and a 2023 Kia Soul LX, $248 a month. Both 36-month lease and $27.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, I got to bring the family.
You need 3 rows and 7-passenger seating. 2022 Kia Sorrento LX, $339, 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing.
And your Kias are always equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 per year, 26 excess mileage, 0 security deposit, Forte NE 492,084, MSRP 21,065, sold P718,7730, MSRP 21,720, Sorrento NG 137,060, MSRP 32,595. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Wendy's knows cold and soggy fries are the worst.
So soggy.
That's why we're serving up hot and crispy fries all day, every day.
And all night until close.
With natural cut potatoes, sea salted to perfection.
Show me that potato skin.
Wendy's hot and crispy aren't like other fries. We're your dream fry. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's hot and crispy fries.
Guaranteed to be hot and crispy. If yours aren't, bring them back and we'll replace them.
What do you mean your Central Barbecue belt?
Well, I have 2 different kinds of belts. One for regular days, one for Central Barbecue days.
What's different about the Central Barbecue belt?
It's bigger, duh.
So you're saying on the days when you go to Central Barbecue, your waistline actually grows?
Doesn't everyone's?
I never thought about it.
That's weird. I mean, you go in, you have an appetizer of 3, then smoked wings, barbecue nachos, sausage and cheese plate, or all of them. Then you get your main course, maybe some pulled pork, ribs, beef brisket. Then you're going to want some sides with that action, like homemade potato chips, best greens in town, potato salad. Then it's on to dessert, peanut butter cake, banana pudding. Trust me, your waistline will expand.
Mine would explode.
You got to train, man.
Memphis's oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And after 99 years, I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
I love how Memphis loves golf, even city government. Overton Park is getting redone, Pine Hill is being completely renovated, and Fox Meadows is getting new greens. Public golf has never been better. There's a new app for your phone, Memphis Public Links, where you can make tee times, view special offers, get tournament information, find out the latest golf news, and virtually stay in touch. You can download it at the Apple App Store. There are several new golf tournaments this year, including the Mayor's Cup, and there will be a Player of the Year based on performances throughout the season. You can't beat Memphis golf. Galloway is in perfect shape. Audubon, right in the heart of the Poplar Corridor, is a true test of golf for any level of player. The city has invested in public golf like never before. So, if you haven't played a city course in a while, try it. I assure you, you're gonna love it. Memphis Public Links.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
I work hard for this. I want you to know that.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
David Cohn is the co-host of Crane and Company with Jake Crane. He's part of the company with the Crane, but he is on Twitter at David Adam Cohn. David, how are you, man? Good meeting you last week at SEC Media Days.
It was great meeting you as well. Thank you all so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Did you enjoy yourself last week?
Oh, what a blast. 2 years in a row now, just an absolute blast. The SEC sure knows how to run an event.
And, David, it was great the last 2 years to see you and be around y'all, and I respect you so much for how and what y'all are doing. And y'all have tapped into, and Gabe and I certainly subscribe to this, college football season never ends.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm so excited. It's just that time of year, and thank you for your kind words also, but it's just that time of year, you know. It's still hot as it can be, right? It's the heat of the summer, but you know that fall camp is right around the corner, and even though I'm not putting on the pads anymore like I used to, it's going to be a special fall. Despite what everything that's going on with NIL and conference realignment, it's still going to be a special football season, boys.
And you asked me last week, you said, do you ever get tired? And I said, no, I get tired about bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. And if you worked a full day and if you worked as hard as you should throughout the day, then going to sleep will be easy, isn't that right?
It was a cure for insomnia, I promise you.
David, where'd you play ball at?
So I grew up in South Georgia, down near Savannah, but I actually played at the University of Michigan.
Oh,
so
rock
I went
on.
up there. Lloyd Carr brought me in when I was there, and then Rich Rodriguez came in before my junior year, which wasn't great for me at the quarterback position. But was proud to have attended the University of Michigan, and I'll pull for him till my dying day.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's some pretty famous quarterbacks from there, like Tom Brady. That wasn't far from your stretch, was it?
I've heard of him.
Yeah,
I have heard of him. And I mean, the guy who was starting when I was there, Chad Henne, was pretty great as well.
Yeah. Well, we got Big Ten Media Days rolling along right this second. Not Kirk Ferentz, but Jim Harbaugh got to speak today. Speaking of quarterbacks, I guess I have to ask you this: what's the deal with this? He said Cade McNamara is going to be hard to beat out for the starting job. J.J. McCarthy is going to be really hard to beat out for the starting job. Who gets the starting job?
I just read the transcript right before you guys called because I was, we were on air, and so I was reading the transcript quickly just so I could see what exactly Jim Harbaugh said, and I saw that. And first of all, if you guys can dissect, and translate what Jim Harbaugh means with the words that he says, please somebody tell me.
Right.
But that's just part of the enigma that is Jim Harbaugh. Look, I don't know. I really don't mind that answer from him because, look, they're both great quarterbacks, and I don't know what's going to happen. I was talking about it all last week. Even at SEC Media Days, I was talking about with guys. Cade McNamara last season had one of the most efficient seasons I've seen a Michigan quarterback have. Talking about Chad Henne, since Chad Henne. Now, Denard Robinson had some electric years at Michigan, but Cade was so efficient last year, and I really love the way that Michigan used J.J. McCarthy last season. I am not usually big on dual quarterbacks. I'm not big on running different platoons and all this kind of stuff, especially with the way that offenses need to be in rhythm these days. Now, It's interesting because I was talking about this. My father-in-law is Richard Todd, and he played for Bear Bryant at Alabama. So he was talking about, Coach Bryant always used us in a platoon system when they were running the wishbone, but that was a little bit different. So I'm usually not big on that, but the way that Michigan was able to do it last season with peppering J.J. McCarthy in, I thought was really good. It was a little bit too one-dimensional with he would run the ball mostly when he came in. And so I was hoping that when they played Georgia in the playoff, after they had already beaten their rival, they already made the college football playoff, they already won the Big Ten, I was hoping they'd be a little bit more creative and let it all hang out in the playoff game because you're playing one of the greatest college football teams of all time anyway at that point. I thought they were way too vanilla. But both of those kids can play football. I think J.J. McCarthy maybe has a higher ceiling, and maybe he just blows it out of the water in fall camp. But then again, maybe he's still a bit green, and Cade's the guy who can have another efficient season.
I like competition. I like being pushed. But you mentioned your father-in-law, Richard Todd. Even after he got to the Jets and, first-round pick and, get to New York City from Bama and had that arm and had those wheels, the Jets even kind of kept him in a constant competition with Matt Robinson from Georgia, who stayed in a platoon-type deal when he was at Georgia with Ray Goff. So you know all about it. It goes way back with your father-in-law.
No doubt. And look, if you're, if you want to play quarterback in this day and age, I don't care if you're on a Pop Warner team or if you're playing for the New York Jets, you're going to have to compete for your job, And I think Richard came in that time when, look, he followed Joe Namath at Alabama and with the Jets. I mean, that's a story to tell right there. So I always love picking his brain on those stories. And, when Joe Willie had gotten hurt that first year that Richard was there, I think, all signs were kind of pointing to Richard being the starting quarterback. But he had a lot of guys he had to beat out, and he played there for 11 seasons, just about.
Our guest, David Cohn of Crane & Company. Now, just curiously, seeing what Greg Sankey said last week in his opening remarks at SEC Media Days, and then now seeing what Kevin Warren has said, obviously saying expanding the Big Ten would have to be right reasons, right time. They're in 4 different time zones now with USC and UCLA. What do you think about both of those guys from if you're comparing and contrasting the messaging they're using? What have you thought about their remarks?
Look, they're both business guys, right? And we had Tim Brando on the other day, and I said, Tim, who's in charge, as it relates to the NCAA? Like, what are we doing here? Because things, have kind of gone off the rails as it relates to the transfer portal and NIL and some of this conference realignment stuff. I think both his response was both of those guys want to do what's best for their conferences, right? Like Greg Sankey only cares about what is best for the SEC, and Kevin Warren only cares about what's best for the Big Ten. And then obviously you have the TV relationships at some point too, which is like, ESPN is big with the SEC and Fox is big with the Big Ten. And so there's all sorts of different things at play here. But, both of those guys just want what's best for their conference. And I think when you saw the way Greg Sankey was able to lead during COVID, when we almost didn't have a college football season, when all of us as a community and as a country, we were banding together and we were saying, there are some things that are bigger than college football. And if we have to miss a college football season due to these, external factors, then, we would hate that, but we're willing to do that. But Greg Sankey found a way for us to have college football that season when some other conferences didn't want to do that. And he really led in that moment. And that was something that I was really proud of him. I was proud to watch that. And, as it relates to bringing Texas and Oklahoma in, that was a year ago, boys, when we were in Birmingham last year, wasn't it, when that news broke? I mean, just phenomenal for the SEC. But now look, Kevin Warren's responded, right? I mean, USC and UCLA, that's a big get for them. And now you're talking about, 4 different time zones and the 3 biggest markets in the country. I think the Big Ten's represented in now with New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. So, the traditionalist in me wants to see the Big Ten teams remain in the Big Ten and the Pac-12 teams remain in the Pac-12. But if it's going to be a situation where you either evolve or die, then I at least want to see these conferences evolve and do what they have to make college football stay great.
And I want to hear your thoughts on this because Brett and I have talked about Greg Sankey and the way he's sort of messaging these things. I feel like after the COVID season, and this is what Brett said too, it feels like he just stopped caring about messaging and trying to be nice through these whole things. It feels like what he said last week and the messages he was putting across
get the heck out of the way.
Is, hey, The SEC is going to win through this. That much I know. If we have to go to mega conferences, if we break up the tradition of college football because other people don't want to get on board, so be it.
Well, when you look at how dominant the Southeastern Conference is in football, it shouldn't surprise you. And other sports, for that matter. I mean, they're coming on strong in basketball. They own college baseball, basically. It shouldn't surprise you at all that they have a fearless leader like Greg Sankey.
Yeah, and 2 years ago, coming up around the 5th or 8th or August or so, David, I came on these airwaves that day, and I said it is the saddest sports news I have ever had to announce, and that's the Big Ten was pulling the plug on college football. And from what I understand, that was after the night before in a conversation between the two commissioners of the Big Ten and the SEC, Sankey and Warren. Warren committed to him to stay the course and then freelanced and kind of left Greg Sankey hanging, so he had to lead. Greg Sankey was not going to follow the lead of the Ivy League.
No, exactly, and that's the point that I was trying to make earlier. It's like all of us, we understand there are some things that are bigger than having a football season, and we can deal with that if it came to that. Mm-hmm. But it hadn't come to that at that point, right? Like you're saying, they had just had a conversation about let's get more data, let's lean on the analytics, let's find out what's going on. It felt like Kevin Warren and some of the commissioners of the other conferences sort of just wanted to, almost from a PR standpoint, to go ahead and like pull the plug on football early. I mean, obviously, I'm not in those rooms. I'm not having those conversations. But it was Greg Sankey who said, "No, we don't need to make a it right this
Limited
second.
fans,
Let's wait it out.
health and safety protocols."
And he led in a time of crisis,
sure
and it was magnificent.
We had to have it.
But the thing is, like with Kevin Warren, and I understand that was a misstep, and that's been held against him to this point. But do you think the UCLA thing is sort of making people forget about that?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
Step in the right direction. I mean, look at this, and not only for football.
About
look at
20
what
steps.
that'll do for them for basketball. I mean, USC and UCLA, they can both play some basketball, and I was talking to a cousin of mine. He played college basketball at Alabama, and we were talking about, well, how exactly is this going to work from a travel perspective? I mean, at least football teams are once a week, but, if you're having to play basketball, let's say if you're UCLA and you're having to play Rutgers now on a Tuesday night, like how is that going to work? Are they going to figure out some sort of geographical middle ground? So, look, there's a lot of this is a mess, and we wouldn't have to lean on these conference commissioners so much if there was some leadership at the very top of the NCAA. Sadly, there's not, and so these different conferences are kind of just doing their own thing right now.
Mm-hmm. And David, Gabe and I both are college football first, but we love college basketball, and not because we have to in Memphis, but we really do. I love college basketball, and I can't wait till we get to all the realignment stuff and we talk the college basketball quotient of this. I don't want anything to happen to the basketball tournament. I want it to stay like it is. I think it's fantastic. We talked about that yesterday with David Cobb from CBS. But you mentioned those road trips, not even the most extreme ones, even the UCLA to West Lafayette on a Tuesday night. Here's my thing. They have to go and stay, and then on Thursday night or Saturday afternoon, they play the Hoosiers in Bloomington.
The logistics are certainly going to affect a lot of sports, more than just football. But as it relates to on the field of play and the postseason, I don't think basketball will be as affected as much because, first of all, you can play more games, and a lot of these conferences are already having in-season tournaments. The ACC and Big Ten will have a shootout, sometime around Christmas time or something, and you see that. And then as it relates to the postseason, you can have a lot more teams make the tournament. So you have like 64 teams plus the four play-in spots. When you have that, there's less of an emphasis on, well, who was in our conference? Who did we beat? Did we win our conference? I think as it relates to football, that's where you're going to see, are we going to get to a point where we have to have almost a playoff within the conference just to see who won the conference before we even get to the national playoff? I hope not.
Mm-hmm. Last thing for you, you're a Michigan man, so I'm curious. Last year, Michigan finally gets over the hump in beating Ohio State. What do you think about their chances this year with that Ohio State team?
Man, the Buckeyes, when I saw Ryan Day after they won the Rose Bowl, and I saw that he wasn't even happy. He was basically like, yeah, all we're thinking about is Michigan. I said, boys, y'all better strap it on tight because come Thanksgiving in the horseshoe, it's not going to be any fun. But I'll tell you what, like I said, I bled for the University of Michigan, competed up there. Even though my mom was from Columbus, I didn't tell you guys that part. But you know, I'm always going to go with Michigan. I'm always going to go with
always
Michigan.
High hopes.
What a college football lineage you have, David! My goodness, you got the college football gene pool of all time.
Man, I'll tell you what, it's the greatest sport there is, and I hope that we can keep it great, boys.
No question about it. David, appreciate it, man. We should do this again soon.
Please have me on again.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, David. We will. Thank you very much. David Cohn, part of the Crane and Company team, and they are doing excellent work. You heard the passion for it. I saw it the last 2 years, and last week I said, I got to have you on. He said, here's my number. Call me. We did, and we'll do it quite often. At Belly Acres, their motto is city-fied, farm fresh. The goal is simple, provide a fun and unique farm-to-table experience for the entire family, and they've accomplished it. And soon, another location, real soon, at Silo Square in South Haven. 2 great locations now, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Signature burgers made from 100% grass-fed beef, sandwiches, salads, everything fresh, and the best milkshakes anywhere. And on a day like this, it's milkshake day. The burgers like the Derrier, the Double Derrier, and the melt in your mouth, and you must try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand. The Belly Acres team, they develop using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm family setting right here in the big city. The goal at Belly Acres, become even more sustainable as they grow. They will in Overton Square and in Regalia now, and soon to Silo Square in South Haven. The very best quality available in Memphis. It's at Belly Acres. Burgers, shakes, and smiles every time at Belly Acres.
We're going to go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we're going to stick right here on some college football. We're going to talk some Big Ten Media Days. Stick with us. Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to get road trip ready, and we got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Let's get 41 MPG Highway in 2022 Kia Forte LSX, $199 a month. Pack some fun in 2023 Kia Soul LX, $248 a month. Quote 36-month lease and $27.99 due at signing. And get 3 rows and 7 seats with 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $399. 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. And all Gossett Kias come equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warrant. New adventures need a new ride. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Forte, NE 492,084, MSRP 21,065. Sold P718, 7730, MSRP 21,720. Sorrento, NG 137,060, MSRP 32,595. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, I got one of my best customers, Mark, here.
Hey, Montana.
Hey, Mark, tell Sports 56 fans the deal of the century that I gave you at Sleep Cheap.
Yeah, I just bought the whole family some new mattresses. Our backs thank you. Easy professional people to work with, good quality mattresses and box springs, and they under-promised and over-delivered. We got the Sports 56 deal, the hybrid mattress and box springs regularly $1,000 for $599, and the wife and I got the king-size mattress normally $1,500 for $999.
Mark, it was a pleasure working with you. Glad you and your family are happy with the quality of our memory foam. Now I'm extending this manager suite deal to my fellow Sports 56 fans. Check out our 3 locations, 6330 Winchester, Memphis, 1069 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, and West Memphis, 1701 North Missouri Street. Also wanted to let you know Sleep Cheap mattress sets starting at $199 to $4,000. We have twin XLs, queen, king, California king, we got it all. And again, guys, take advantage of this sweet Sports 56 hybrid mattress queen box deal. Normally $1,000, we got it for $599. We also have the king, normally $1,500, selling for $999. See y'all at Sleep Cheap.
Wendy's knows cold and soggy fries are the worst.
So soggy.
That's why we're serving up hot and crispy fries all day, every day.
And all night until close.
With natural cut potatoes, sea salted to perfection.
Show me that potato skin.
Wendy's hot and crispy aren't like other fries. We're your dream fry. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's hot and crispy fries.
Guaranteed to be hot and crispy. If yours aren't, bring them back and we'll replace them.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Let me tell you what Melvin Toast is packing right here, all right?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Get it? Back rolling. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats Time. Gabe, he is Stats. Now, Big Ten Media Days are rolling along. And I got posed a question today. I did my normal spot with good old Johnny Radio at about noon today. And I got posed this question. And I think it's a very, very vital question to what we're going to see out of the Big Ten. Yes, Ohio State's on the top. I think I have already professed my love for Ohio State. With Jim Knowles on that defensive side of the ball now as a defensive coordinator, I think they take some steps in the right direction. Offensively, we know they're going to be good. C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba. They're going to find a way. And Ryan Day running the offense. They're going to be fine.
They're more unanimous than Bama in the SEC.
I think pretty close. Pretty close. Now, who's 2? Who is 2 in the Big Ten? Because on the top of the Big Ten last year was Michigan. Michigan finally got over that Ohio State hump and figured it out. Obviously didn't have a very good showing in the college football playoff, but they showed that they finally were capable of getting there last year.
I thought it was indeed the corner-turning year for Jim Harbaugh, and to get the win at home at Michigan, at Ann Arbor, that took so much pressure off of him because you didn't feel like he was going to break that streak on the road at the Horseshoe at Ohio State, where they are this year. He's not going to beat them there this year. He's not. That's their only loss. And that's the answer to my top story of the day. Who will be 4? It's going to be the 11-1 Michigan Wolverines.
Okay.
They will be the 4 because I think they're 11-1 even more impressive than something in 1 for Clemson as ACC champion if they win the ACC, and that's not a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
So Michigan will be my 4th seed. That means they will play in the semis. My undefeated champions of the SEC, Alabama.
I don't remotely disagree with you there. I don't. I think Michigan's number 2. The other team I'd look at though. And this is sort of copy and paste since Paul Christ has been there. Wisconsin has I think there'll be a player this year. Now, last year a little bit down, but if we're talking about 6-3, 9-4 overall, 6-3 in the Big Ten as a down year, that's fantastic. But I mean, Graham Mertz was terrible. They're always going to have a good old line, but that running back they have, that 0-0 in the backfield, Braylon Allen, in his sophomore season. I like what he's going to be able to do.
Here's the guarantee. They're 3-0 when they go to Ohio State for their fourth game, September 24th.
I would count them to lose that, especially at Ohio State. But the rest of their schedule is very winnable for them. Northwestern, Michigan State, Purdue, Maryland. At Iowa's always tough, but Nebraska, Minnesota. I don't think Iowa's going to be – I mean, Iowa's always going to be a player there. They're going to be probably a 7-8 win team, maybe 9. But the quarterback play there just leaves a lot to be desired for me.
You know, we when I talk about Arkansas having the big three lined up and doing well, football, basketball, men's basketball, baseball. Well, here's the big two. I don't even know if Wisconsin plays baseball, do they?
Good question.
Wisconsin, yeah,
I think they do.
Yeah. They
have a pretty good baseball team, yeah.
Okay. I know football and men's basketball, they're always there. You can count on them having a good bowl team, a solid team, a fun team.
Is there a caveat to that, though? From, like, getting over the hump and winning championships year after year? That's the caveat with them.
Hadn't won it all in basketball since, like, 39 or 40.
That's what I'm saying. In football, they especially in the 21st century, they've been that team that's like
ever won it
there, but never quite
maybe with Allen Amici.
Good enough to be a national champion.
And I asked that about because there's somebody in the Big Ten that doesn't play baseball.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Remember who it is.
But if Iowa plays baseball, I think everybody plays baseball.
There's one in there. I'm pretty sure. I think there's somebody in the Big 12 that does. Anyway, but Wisconsin, you can count on them being consistent, and you know what they're going to run, Gabe. I mean, and you know they're going to have a big offensive line.
Yep. And they're going to have those northern Midwestern corn-fed guys up front.
Steady running back that takes care of the football.
Yep.
And then they get in 3rd and 4 and find the tight end.
A lot of 22 personnel, 23 personnel. They find a way. They have a lot of tight ends, too. But it's just been very consistent, no matter who's been there, too. Paul Chris, Bielema. It's been the same thing forever.
Back to their AD. And
Barry Alvarez. Same thing.
And he really got it going.
Yeah. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. Michigan should still be right up there. Now, the quarterback situation is kind of weird to me. What you have Jim Harbaugh saying, they're both going to be hard to beat out for a
competition.
starting
It's
role.
it's the only life he's
I hated what he
did
did last year, though, in a lot of ways. Cade McNamara, in a couple of games, was rolling, and he'd switch it up and just bring J.J. McCarthy in for a play or two and then try to put Cade McNamara back in there. I thought that was foolhardy to say the least. Like I don't like two quarterback systems.
Michigan is a brand in college football we need strong.
Mm-hmm. And they've been strong under Harbaugh, even though there's a lot of people that have been up and down.
Finally got the win last year.
But they've been up and down on the job he's done there, even though he wins 10 games a year, just because he hadn't beat Ohio State until last year.
I don't think it's a bad thing. Michigan and Ohio State in the Big Ten, they're on the SEC. They're on the SEC's brain. Mm-hmm. A lot of talk about them last week. I never remember a SEC media days where there was that much Big Ten conversation. And at the Iron Bowl last year, tailgating, every TV was on Michigan, Ohio State. Everyone.
Yep. Now, speaking of tailgating, I have a perfect spot to go pick up some tailgating from. That's Central Barbecue. Best barbecue in town. 4 different locations open daily for lunch and dinner. Midtown on Central Avenue, downtown by the Civil Rights Museum. Summer in the one at Poplar you can order delivery from, or just go to the website and look up the address, 6201 Poplar Avenue. You can find me in there. I'm in there constantly. You pop your head in and say hello. Now, they have everything you want. Turkey, pork. They have a fantastic brisket. They do everything so well, you cannot go wrong. You can start with the smoked wings, which everyone seems to love. Whether you get them honey gold, jerked, you can get them naked. You can get them however you want. But those wings are great. Sausage and cheese plate's fantastic, and you can even get desserts. They have gluten-free options as well as sides. They have vegetarian options, which is not common with a barbecue restaurant. Make sure you get to Central Barbecue. Now, there are a couple different things. Go to eatcbq.com and click on that shipping tab. Just trust me right now. If you want to get a gift for the family, if you want to send this great barbecue somewhere else in the United States of America, they will handle it for you. eatcbq.com. Click that shipping tab. Also, catering for 15 or more people. Call this number, 901-527-9990. Again, 901-527-9990 for lunch or dinner for 15 or more people. With those 4 locations, you got Midtown on Central Avenue, downtown by the Civil Rights Museum, Summer And then the one I'm at all the time, you can order delivery from, the one on Poplar, state-of-the-art, brand new, right there on Poplar. Now, Central Barbecue Smoke is their sauce. Let's go ahead and get to hour number 2. Hour number 2 is going to be a packed one. We have a lot of college football to get to, a lot of NFL training camp to get to. But coming up next, bring on Brent Beard from First Coast News.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And it's now available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hi, this is Greg Gaston. I'm talking about new therapies, advanced all-natural biologics, regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in precision regenerative medicine with over 100 clinics across America and literally thousands of satisfied patients. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy options that can change your life. Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation with local medical professionals. Call 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area. As is, it's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone, call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Looking for a cigar lounge to call your own? One that offers a laid-back environment with a full bar, comfortable seats to kick back in and enjoy a beer or a cocktail, and a cigar. The G-Spot, Memphis' premier cigar lounge, is just for you. Offered a wide selection of cigars, and it's open 7 days a week, starting at 12 noon for your smoking pleasure. G-Spot Cigar Lounge is now offering a limited number of memberships that provide a locker and a humidor credit. For more information, call the G-Spot Cigar Lounge, 901-801-4276. Make the most of the open road with a 2022 Can-Am Spyder from Olive Branch Motorsports. This stylish 3-wheel touring motorcycle is the pinnacle of luxury touring with a modern look, premium comfort, extra storage, and next-level convenience. All designed so you and your passenger can put more distance between stops. The Can-Am Spyder is all about performance, comfort, and sophistication, giving you the ultimate riding experience. See the 2022 Can-Am Spyder today at Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
I think this is the best chicken I ever had.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 is here. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats, producing the program, doing a great job in the control room. On the ones and twos is Bryant Dacus.
And no baseball at Wisconsin. I thought that was right.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Is that the only one in the Big Ten?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wisconsin, no baseball.
Someone in the Pac-12 doesn't play.
Yeah.
Does Oregon? I know
Yeah,
Oregon State.
Oregon definitely has
Oregon
one.
State's real good.
Yeah, Oregon State's really good.
Oregon has one, but Oregon has the only reason I know that is because I'm pretty sure they have those nasty-looking uniforms.
They do.
They definitely play softball. I know they definitely play softball. Now, AutoZone listener line is 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And go to our website, sports56whbq.com. I know a lot of people have been talking about the podcast. They've been down for a while. They're back up. We figured it out. And also our featured audio is up there for your listening pleasure as well. We bring in Brent Beard from First Coast News as we normally do on a Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Brent, how are you?
Well, I'm doing well. In a lot of ways, I really almost wish I was still in Atlanta with media days, but I enjoyed immensely catching up with you guys and how much fun that it really was. I mean, man, look, we love the players and the coaches, but the networking is as important, frankly, as anything else. So it was a good week, and was honored to be able to spend a little time with you guys.
And we thank you, Brent. It was so much fun. It always is. Next year we'll be in Nashville. After that, to be determined. I think Dallas will be in the mix somewhere, probably back to the College Football Hall of Fame at some point. It doesn't feel like at the Winfrey in Birmingham. Maybe Birmingham. Cole Kubelik says slow down on Never Again in Birmingham, but definitely not at the Winfrey, something bigger.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I did. Look, I appreciated it being in Hoover. Logistically, it was much easier as far as parking and just getting back and forth. And I appreciated that greatly, but I do hope it goes back at some point, or let's just say it gets in the rotation with all that. So, but it will be very interesting to see where it goes. I mean, the Big Ten's at Lucas Oil Stadium as we speak, which obviously is but plenty of parking in a lot of room. I don't know if we'll go that way in it, but at the same time, and there wasn't anything that was earth-shaking that came down. There were a couple things. I think of the Tennessee debacle with the 18 level ones would have been announced earlier. That would have drawn a lot of attention. And look, and I'm curious if you guys have heard anything more on this, but what was not said that I thought was humongous is, and I've seen reports on this, Chris Rodriguez at Kentucky about his status being up in the air. And that is humongous for teams like Florida and Georgia. And again, I'm not saying it's anything nefarious. Well, I mean, the reality is we just don't know. But Kentucky reporters are saying that they're not sure what's going on with that. And I tell you, if you lose a guy, and again, we're not saying they are, but if they lose a guy that can gain 1,000, 1,200 yards, that will be a mammoth hit for Kentucky.
Yeah, and I asked my man Nick Roush from Kentucky Sports Radio about it last week when I sort of got wind of it. And obviously he had the DUI, Chris Rodriguez, in the offseason. But you ask all the people from Kentucky, and no one's saying anything about what to say. They say there's a situation, air quotes right there. They say there's a situation, but nothing's actually being sort of investigated or looked into, it feels like.
Well, and I'm sure that, and this may very well be a situation that frankly is non-football related. That's none of anybody's business.
Right.
And we understand that, and I'm sure they'll do all they can to protect him. My concern is a talent like that who is second team, SEC with the media. I'm just hoping he plays.
No question about it. Now, the Tennessee 18 level 1 allegations. The one thing, the more I've sat back and looked at this, it feels like it may not be all that big a deal for the institution because they didn't get lack of institutional control. They did. It looks really bad for Jeremy Pruitt. I don't think Jeremy Pruitt's going to be coaching college anytime soon. But what do you think about that, and what do you think ultimately happens for that football program?
I think that you've got a different NCAA right now. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do. Now, they mentioned about, and I think this would be something they should have done years ago, was you punish the transgressor, and the current kids there who had nothing to do with this, basically, they really don't get much. They may lose some scholarships. I don't think they lose a bowl ban. And frankly, I know 18 is a lot, and I get all that, but Tennessee's cooperated and done all they needed to do, according to what we read about the in the reports. Now, look, the other part of this no one's talking about either, and I'm beginning to hear more about this now, is Phil Fulmer being the previous AD who hired him. I mean, what kind of accountability and responsibility does Fulmer have in this situation? So that can't be ignored either. And if you want to be fair and balanced about covering this, that's got to be brought up too. And I'm not necessarily saying he's got to have a penalty, but I think what goes along with this, what people will eventually want to know is what did he know and when, and I think that's something fair to ask.
Yeah, and it's a head coach that, it's an AD, former AD, that when he was a head coach, he was very accusatory of a lot of other places and people, yes, and reportedly turned a lot of other people in. And there are a lot of people not feeling that sorry for him now that he has ended up in the middle of this. I defended him in his last days, and I said, Tennessee, be really, really careful what you're getting ready to start doing. I didn't know that Lane Kiffin was only going to stay 1 year. I think that hurt as much as anything else. Going way back to that, moving on from Fulmer, the head coach, was it the right or wrong thing?
I think at that point, that's a really good question. At that point and where they were, I think they had peaked and they were going down, and that they at that time probably needed to make a move. I think they were probably, and I think if some of the fans are honest with you, they would have probably said they wanted to make a move.
Well, they did speak back then. They wanted him out, and then pure disaster his tenure as AD. But they have moved on. It's not on Danny White. It's not on Josh Heupel. It's not on this team. So how did you ultimately vote number 2, East and West? I voted Tennessee 2 in the East, and I voted A&M in the West. How did you vote?
Yeah, Kentucky in the East for me. And again, I mean, you still could see Florida or if they get a lightning in a bottle with Richardson at quarterback, or if Tennessee develops a real defense where they could win to. And look, for me, with the West, I picked LSU. And look, LSU was picked what?
I think on personnel, you're probably right.
But that they have, and that's the reason I picked them. They've still got mega players like Butte and Emery and guys like
good options at quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely, whoever that's going to be. Mm-hmm. So my point
somewhere in that building's a great tailback too.
Yeah, no question. But I think your question and our hesitancy and coming up with teams immediately is a great example of where this league is after the top 2 teams.
Mm-hmm. And I had Arkansas in the West just because I think they have, when you look at culture and coaching and what they've built, like it's hard to deny that. And every time anybody asks me, who were you most impressed with at SEC Media Days, it's always going to be Sam Pittman. I adore that man. That guy is fantastic. Now, with LSU, I get so confused by why they're flying under the radar. They have a good coach. I know they weren't good last year, but you talk about the offensive weapons. Defensively, they have 2 of the best edge rushers. I mean, as far like Ali Gay, B.J. Ojolari, I don't see how people don't look at that and immediately say, okay, this defense is going to turn it around.
I think they're looking at, and I believe this, I learned this from your co-host years ago. I don't care who you are. When you come into this league, there's a learning curve. Mm-hmm. And everybody's had to go through it, Saban, Spurrier, et cetera, et cetera. So I think you've got some of that in the league that you've got to deal with. Last year under people think that, you remember guys in the bowl game, they my source, what was it, 30 or 40 players? Mm-hmm. And the thought process is, well, they can't build back from that, but I can tell you they can.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And they've still got incredible talent. Big game early on with Florida State. That's certainly big here, and where that is going. But they can build up. Southern Mississippi State, New Mexico, at Auburn. Huge game with Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, and Alabama. So, to me, when you look at that schedule, guys, that's a ready-made schedule in order to get your feet underneath you before you face the difficult part in the middle and the end.
Happy October at LSU, at Auburn, home against Tennessee, at Gainesville against Florida, and home against Ole Miss, whom they lost to last year. And, Brent, we know some wild LSU-Auburn games through the years. We remember one night even a building burning down on campus during the game.
And we also remember the seismograph going off in the geology building because the roar was was like that. Just amazing to think about those games, yes.
And some wild LSU Tennessee games. The game back after Katrina when they wrapped a quarterback around the goalpost.
Well, yeah. And listen, correct me on this if I'm thinking about somebody else, but you remember one of the crazy things was LSU Auburn, when basically the loser was probably going to be gone. Miles did.
Versus
he was.
Malzahn.
That's typical. Games like that are very typical in this conference.
Loser leaves town, and he left.
Yeah, literally did. And left what? That game was Saturday. He was out Sunday night, wasn't he?
We're not crazy, though, are we?
No, not at all. But we remember stuff like that, Gabe. How about that?
Yeah, no. Our guest Brent Beard on Twitter at Brent Beard. So we started the show, Brent and I, and thank you to the Big Ten Media Days and Gene Smith for bringing up college football playoff. I love the content, but he says 16-team playoff should be discussed. I don't know if we've ever gotten your official opinion on this. You may not have an official opinion on it. What's your favorite idea for expansion of the college football playoff?
Well, I mean, I like 12. Now, I was really a proponent of 8 for a while before they brought up the ideal of 12. Now, 16 is kind of fascinating too. Now, look, I want an expanded playoff. I'm a real proponent of it, and I think the sooner we can get it, the better. But I am aware that I don't know what the number is, but you can't get to the point that if you get to a certain number, certainly not going to be 64 like Mike Leach wants, but if you get to there is a point where when you're there, you're really watering down your regular season. So, but I think 8 or 12, maybe 16, but certainly 8 or 12 would keep the phenomena of the regular season going on, but still allow teams to get in November.
Mike Leach's bracket would look like the Texas State high school playoff bracket. Have y'all ever seen that thing?
Yes, it's crazy.
Wow,
it would, wouldn't it?
It's insane. It's insane. But we heard what Greg Sankey said last week about automatic qualifiers, and I think that's going to be a point of contention. Right. How do you think that figures itself out? Will we have automatic qualifiers or just straight up at large?
Well, in Sankey's point, and I get this, and this can happen, is do you want a situation where in a humongous upset that you've got a 8-4 team that wins a conference championship?
Right.
I mean, what Sankey wants, whether it's 8 or 12, Sankey was clear he wants the 8 or 12 best teams, which gives you credence to the best records, right?
Do we have a selection committee, or do we stay computer driven? What? How do we determine who's the best?
Well, then that's a good question too. I don't think they get rid of the committee. I think they like what they've got with the committee. Now, the committee's not infallible. We know that. But you've got enough, and I've gone through the mock ceremony that they've got in the mock weekend, and it was very informative. I mean, they've got good grief. They've got all the stats you could ever want in your life in order to determine this.
So they have a committee to read all the computer stuff,
right? And to me, the reason you have the committee is you've got some just plain old good former football coaches that when they're going crazy in the room with analytics, one of these guys can say, or women for that matter, can say, guys, dial it down. Here's your two teams. This team has looked better the entire year than the other team. They've got to have some common sense in that room, too.
The year you went to the mock, I think they did it sometime in October, the week you spent in Dallas. Brent, who's the most impressive person on the committee that really had a voice that resonated?
Well, that's a great point. I know Brett McMurphy was there, and I remember Brett well. Now, again, I saw, and he really is in there as the figurehead, but Bill Hancock had a lot of good wisdom with that committee. And look, I love Bill, and I don't hide that. Bill's a tremendous man, and Bill gets a lot of criticism that I think is unjustified because Bill doesn't make these decisions. Yeah. He's the guy that goes in front of the
He's
camera.
flaming knife catcher. That's his job.
Perfection is never going to be
flaming
hit.
chainsaw
You're always with any type of playoff with a national championship, especially in football. You're going to have people complain about how the system's going to be. And speaking of which, Gary Bardo, look at how much he gets killed for just being the face of what everybody else in that room is saying.
Oh yeah. Well, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, and look, that's a tough job. That's a job I wouldn't want is to have to, after you make that decision, especially if you screwed it up, having to talk to everybody after that one. But yes, to me, the mixture of the analytics and the committee is. I think that's where they need to be right now with that.
Yeah, in another life, Bill Hancock was UN ambassador.
I believe it.
Or general secretary.
I believe it. Or he was a missionary to a third world country,
right.
too.
In a former life, he was Youthon or Dash Hammerjold.
Yeah.
Well, he is Brent Beard on Twitter, at Brent Beard from First Coast News, talking college football with us every single Tuesday. Brent, appreciate it,
Thank you, Brother Beard.
Always, man. Again, great to see you guys last week. And I just wish there's a way we could do it more often.
Countdown is on. Here we go.
Love it. Take care.
You got it.
You too, Brent. Brent Beard. Again, on Twitter, at Brent Beard. Now, let me tell you about our second hour sponsor. That's our good friends at the Big Green Egg. The Big Green Egg, I always tell you, with sports and with grilling, the best ability you have as an athlete or someone on the grill, it's your availability. And this is truly the Big Green Egg, the last grill you'll ever have to buy. Most folks have had their grill or their Big Green Eggs 20, 30 plus years and never have had an issue. And the reason that is, it's twofold. One, highest quality ceramic. Good for heat retention, no question about it, but it does not rust. Some of those gas grills, you get some of it made out of metal. You get a lot of the rain comes down on them if you forget to put the cover on, and they fall apart, they rust, they get bad, and they don't work the same. That's one. Now, the second part of this is the warranty. They've had a warranty, lifetime warranty since 1995 on all ceramic parts. You have an issue, something breaks, there's a crack in some a part you have on the Big Green Egg, you send it into them, they send you one back free of charge, you attach it, you get going. It's that simple. And if you want to do anything on it, you want to make desserts, you want to make pizzas, you can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill. You can do whatever you want on that Big Green Egg. Comes in 7 different sizes, all with that lifetime warranty. They have 100 size and a price point for everyone. And the flavor is going to be fantastic, 100% natural lump wood charcoal. And you can find it at these places around the area, these retailers, Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, and both the Aces around the area, East Memphis Ace and Cordova Ace Hardware. So if you're looking for a do-it-all, reliable, long-lasting grill at a great price point, look no further than our good friends at the Big Green Egg. Now, we've talked college football up to this point. Now it's time to switch to a little pro football. NFL training camps, every single one, all 32 are underway, and we have some notes to get to. We'll do that next. You're listening to Gabe and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5.
You have opinions?
You bet.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255, 360-8255.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. Have you been turned down by your homeowner's insurance in the past 12 months for damage you believe you're owed? Call Brian Elder Roofing now. Our professionals will do a no-obligation, thorough evaluation of your property and document all damage we find. Our fully certified Hague inspectors are trained to identify storm damage to assess and build a full estimate in a language your carrier will understand. If there is no damage found, we will tell you just that. We build a data file of your actual storm damage for your carrier, all at no cost to you, free. So call now for your comprehensive roof guarantee from Brian Elder Roofing. Call us, 867-0303. That's 867-0303. Or schedule online at brianelderroofing.com. Because if you think it's a claim, we'll help you show it's a claim.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
In the alley since 1948, the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see everything kind of getting back to normal.
Brett, we've done a lot of ads before, but maybe it's time for me to do a recap. We have valet parking at the end of our alley on Monroe. On Fridays and Saturdays, we give away our wonderful red beans and rice until it runs out. And you know we like to do things local. Miss Barbara Jackson of O Taste and See has been making these wonderful chess and pecan pies, that's pecan, not pecan, and key lime pies for dessert. And we just started serving this wonderful gelato from Sweet Magnolia Gelato Company. And just to remind everybody, you don't eat cheese and sausage with a knife and fork. You take a cracker, you put sausage on it, you put a piece of cheese on it, a little mustard or a little sauce, take a bite and chase it with the pickle. Brett, we've always been the place for all gatherings, whether they're corporate, rehearsal dinners, retirement parties, birthday parties, whatever. We seat anywhere from 20 people to 250 people. And oh, by the way, we are now open for lunch from 11 o'clock on Tuesday through Saturday. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
It's time to vacation at home with Family Leisure. That's right. Enjoy a vacation in your own backyard with a little help from Family Leisure. Like play gyms and trampolines, they're now $500 off. And those trampolines, by the way, they've got that mesh on the side, so trampolines are now safe and you'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They've got hot tubs in stock and ready to go, and you can get up to $1,000 off when you pick them up. All kinds of do-it-yourself pool specials, like savings of up to $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick it up and install them yourself. And if you're looking for patio furniture, then stop on in, because they have tons in stock and they're ready for you to pick up. So get ready for that vacation at home with the help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale. It's happening right now at Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun truly do come together.
Come on, we're
we're going to be late to the cookout.
I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese.
I hope you packed the Pepto, too.
Huh?
Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much. And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs, you're going to need it.
Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too.
Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's time to get road trip ready, and we got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Let's get 41 MPG Highway in 2022 Kia Forte LSX, $199 a month. Pack some fun in 2023 Kia Soul LX, $248 a month. Both 36-month lease and $27.99 to its signing. And get 3 rows and 7 seats with 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $399. 36-month lease and $34.99 to its signing. And all Gossett Kias come equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. New adventures need a new ride. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Forte NE 492,084, MSRP 21,065. Sold P718 7730, MSRP 21,720. Sorrento NG 137,060, MSRP 32,595. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Bon appetit.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Papa was a Rolling Stone, but now I got
We have 32 of 32 going. Training camps are underway. We only had 4 starting yesterday. The rest of the 28 started today, and there's just an unbelievable amount of news to get to in the NFL.
A game a week from Thursday, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, you're back with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He is Stats. Now, I guess I'll get to a couple of sort of house cleaning things. A couple of wide receivers claimed that past prominence. Both played with the Falcons at one point or another. We'll start with the one that happened earlier today. Mohamed Sanu, who hasn't been all that relevant here in a while, but he signs with the Dolphins. It sort of adds to what Tua has, and Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Mike Gesicki. If he actually comes along, if he figures it out and makes a team, he could be of some outfielder. He could be of some help. But Mohamed Sanu signs with the Dolphins. The bigger one, though, substantially bigger one, Julio Jones, who last year only caught for 434 yards with the Titans, signs.
I wouldn't have thought that much. In the break, I poo-pooed his year last year. And you said 434. I wouldn't have thought it was that much.
31 receptions, 434 yards, only 1 TD. But Julio Jones signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you think differently than me on this. I certainly think last year was an outlier, and I know that he's probably toward the end of his road. But being with Tom Brady, being with all those other wide receivers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they brought in
per 17 games.
But they brought in Kyle Rudolph. He only played 10. Yeah. He only played in 10. So there's different. But I certainly think if all goes relatively well, and he sort of understands the offense, I certainly think he could still help at this point in his career.
With Tom Brady, I mean, this isn't exactly Tom Brady getting Randy Moss at the end. That undefeated year for the Patriots, Randy Moss was he was great.
I still can't get over how criminally underrated Mike Evans is. Mike Evans does not get the love he deserves.
He was at A&M with Johnny.
Yeah, and they gave him the credit. They gave him the credit consistently for getting that Kevin Sumlin offense going. Mike Evans was a safety blanket for him every single year, but he hadn't caught for under 1,000 yards ever in his career in the NFL. The consistency he's had and he's shown is unbelievable.
And that catch radius that he has. Julio, the Super Bowl loss for Atlanta when they're up 28-3, he would have been MVP. That catch he made.
Where he snatched it away.
Oh, it was one of the great catches ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be replayed over and over, and he would have been MVP. Exact number of catches, I think, was close to double digits that day. And, and while they were throwing it so much later in the game instead of running it and working on the clock. I'll never know. But Julio Jones at the end, and he is a Hall of Famer. Agree?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
easy,
100%.
easy.
Yes,
Brian,
I don't think it's close.
Yeah.
We do. You know what?
It's hard for a wide receiver to get in, though. I will admit that. It's very hard.
Because it's such a logjam.
Yeah.
We do need, on one Friday, just a round of heck yes, hell no on Halls of Fame.
Know what I always thought would be a fun one? Bust or not in all different sports. Bring up a name that a lot of people could commonly refer to as a bust or not.
How about both this Friday at 5?
Hey, why not?
Brian,
hey, we got it all planned out. There we go.
A bust section and a Hall of Fame section.
All right,
Friday at 5.
There we go. But yeah, no, Julio Jones, no doubt. 13,000 yards receiving, 61 TDs, not all that great, but he was always considered either the best or top two.
Again, another logjam at wide receiver. We haven't loosened it up. Mm-hmm. We thought we did a few years ago. Took too long for Chris Carter. It took way too long for T.O.
Yep. That was
one of Bryant's
also
big four all-time in San Francisco. T.O.
How much of T.O. was the media
just to punish
did
him?
not like him very much.
A lot, too much
That's
of
a lot.
it.
That's a
and
lot.
I don't think that should be. We're not voting for Mr. Congeniality. We're voting. Did he have the numbers for the Hall of Fame? If he had been snotty to me, if he still had the numbers, I swear I'd vote for him.
Mm-hmm. Now, to the not-so-good news, we have some retirements. Danny Amendola retires, 2-time Super Bowl winner. He had a heck of a career, 13 seasons for a little scrappy guy from Texas Tech. He figured it out. Chris Carson had to retire today due to that neck injury with the Seahawks.
Can you really
That's
pick
tough.
Danny Amendola and Wes Welker out of a lineup?
Yes, I could. Because I got to see Danny Amendola his rookie year with the St. Louis Rams. Come on. I love Danny Amendola. He's a punt returner, scrappy.
Just like Wes Welker.
Scrappy guy. First one in, last one to leave. He was that type of guy, right? It's a hard hat and lunch pail.
Yeah. Every eye on me.
And this is interesting. Chiefs wide receiver Justin Ross from Clemson. He's out for the year. He's been placed on IR. He has not been able to really recreate what we thought he was going to be since his freshman year at Clemson when they won the national title and he caught for 1,000 yards.
He did have that big year for Clemson, and around the Chiefs and in that division. Are we sure they're going to keep it up?
We'll see.
They win. We're going to make predictions.
Like they got rid and traded away Tyreek Hill, but they've tried to go the committee route. Marquez Valdez-Scantling's at least productive pro. He hadn't been great, but he's productive. Juju Smith-Schuster's been productive. Not great, but productive.
I don't get worried until Mahomes to Kelsey plays out.
Right. I agree. It kind of – there were some hints of that late last year, of it kind of getting a little bit – it'll be fine, though. Travis Kelce.
More will be on Mahomes this year than's been asked of him in his – Chief
but you know what's
run.
great for him? You could say that.
He can get it done.
What's great for him? He's already got a championship. He's already got a Super Bowl.
But Gabe, the conversation around the second Super Bowl when everybody thought they would just walk over Tampa Bay, people were talking about him winning 5. And Bruce Marshall on these airwaves said, "Slow down. He's fortunate to have the one. If Garoppolo makes one more play, he doesn't have the one."
He's 26 years old, so he doesn't have the same pressure that Aaron Rodgers has to get another one.
Very true.
He's already got one, so he doesn't have the same pressure that Josh Allen has to get one. He doesn't. Same with Dak Prescott. Doesn't have the same pressure as Dak Prescott to get one.
You're right about everything.
So Patrick Mahomes,
you're right.
He's sort of playing with house money still, although I think Chiefs fans want way more out of this era of Chiefs football.
And about the Packers, who said this morning? 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They've won it twice.
Yeah, that's bad.
That would be aggravating. 2 greats, 2 in the pantheon.
And I was thinking about
Rodgers.
I was also
you have 2.
You know what else I was thinking about with the?
That's only one less than Mahomes.
The Aaron Rodgers era in Green Bay, because I think Aaron Rodgers, and You can disagree with me all you want. He threw the most interceptions.
Has it been unfulfilled?
Well,
That's next on first day.
He threw the most interceptions in the history of the NFL in Brett Favre, okay? So I think Aaron Rodgers, just off that and alone, decision-making, still being a gunslinger, I think Aaron Rodgers, in the end of the day, is he's a better quarterback than Brett Favre was.
He is, but that's not popular to say.
But he is. And I'm glad you're there with me, so we don't have to have that debate. But the Aaron Rodgers age, the era, Mike McCarthy gets smacked down really hard for only winning the one, and by the end 6-9-1. But Matt LaFleur, I mean, at what point do we look at what he's done? And yes, he's been great since he's got there. He's gotten them 1 or 2 seed every year, home field advantage all the time. What point do we look at him and say, "Hey, you've underachieved"?
This year,
is this year the
NFC Championship game loss at Lambeau and Lambeau?
Yeah, last year we. It's kind of
we know that.
Isn't it kind of
storied? We know that.
Isn't it kind of embarrassing them losing? It's very embarrassing what they did last year against 49ers. At home, Niners didn't even score an offensive touchdown.
Now, it helped Tampa Bay so much playing in an empty Lambeau. But is the empty one any less? Is it any tougher than a full one?
It's pretty.
Here's the hot take on first take. Is Lambeau overrated?
It's pretty.
It kind of is.
It's pretty bad when you look at it. Like they have. Since LaFleur's been there, they've
Garden for the Knicks. It's not. But
since LaFleur's been there, they've had no excuse not to get over the hump, and they still can't get over the hump. They at least playing a Super Bowl by now, really. I think that's fair to expect, and they haven't. Like last year was just perfect,
and the
just
one
perfect
2010 season as a wild card.
Yeah, how about Aaron Rodgers showing up to camp today? Do we like that? We like the look.
Rolled in
the ode to Con Air. I'd never seen Con Air, so I went and watched I watched the trailer.
Who's in the Con Air?
Nick Cage. So Nick Cage is who he was dressed up as. Bootcut jeans, tucked in wife beater, long hair.
Nick Cage famous for what movies?
Gone in 60 Seconds, National Treasure.
Wow, impressive.
Nick Cage has been around.
I don't know any Nick Cage movies.
I haven't seen Gone in 60 Seconds either. I've only seen parts of it. I hear that's
Wasn't he the
fantastic.
Secret Service agent in the movie with protecting the
National Treasure?
No. You're thinking of Are you thinking of the movie with Whitney Houston in it?
No. That was Kevin Costner.
Yeah, that was Kevin Costner. Love Kevin Costner.
Con Air, though, huh?
No, Nick Cage was the Secret Service agent with the protecting
book.
The retired First Lady, wasn't he? What movie was that?
I remember my National Treasure is what I grew up with Nick Cage trying to steal the Declaration of Independence.
With a really famous star. I can't think of her name because I'm not a movie person.
Nick Cage, though.
I don't know.
We can't find
it. He's got a big catalog. I mean,
he's got a very big catalog.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to really pick out exactly which one. But I've never seen Con Air, so I looked at the trailer. Just looked it up on YouTube. So I guess the people can correct me on this, 901-360-8255. Looks like a movie where they're transporting prisoners, and he apparently, for his family, had to beat someone to death, so he's in prison for a long time, Nick Cage, his character. And they have to transport all these prisoners. They go up in the air, and then the prisoners take over the plane, and then he has to go in and take over the plane for them and land it. That's the idea of Con Air, if you were wondering.
Whoa.
I need to go watch it, guys.
Kind of
pretty cool
Jones
sounding.
Off the train in The Fugitive, but in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Brett, you're right. Guarding Tess.
Yeah, with Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah.
That's it. It came to me. And I can see your screen.
Yeah, and
there we go. Oh, and Raising Arizona, too, for Nick Cage.
Got nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. No Raising Arizona.
I'm getting texts from everybody.
I don't think I've ever seen a Nick
Secret
Cage
Service
movie.
agent for Shirley MacLaine. Thank you. We got it.
That's the only one you know, huh?
Yeah, well, that was it. It's one of those movies that's on like all the time.
But either way,
every week
I have not gotten. I need to rate it.
Tombstone is on all the time. Talk about movies that's on all the time.
One out of 10 though. What'd you think of the look rolling up to camp that way?
Sure, I mean,
dig it.
Cool.
Boot cut.
I mean,
jeans,
it's like every year he comes up with something new.
Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Speaking of quarterbacks that we expect a lot from. Last thing before we get to break, Trevor Lawrence. You hear about coming out of Jags camp, 7-on-7s and then 11-on-11s. Apparently,
and we will rank AFC South quarterbacks.
Apparently, no incompletions for Trevor Lawrence today. He's got to have a step in the right direction this year.
I was following Mia this morning live from camp.
Yeah. Good old Mia O'Brien. Yeah, we'll have her on the show.
Working
soon.
hard.
Yeah, we need to get her on the show soon. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back from that break, we continue this conversation. Also, going to bring up some MVP odds, early MVP odds for the NFL right here on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Make the most of the open road with a 2022 Can-Am Spyder from Olive Branch Motorsports. This stylish three-wheel touring motorcycle is the pinnacle of luxury touring with a modern look, premium comfort, extra storage, and next-level convenience. All designed so you and your passenger can put more distance between stops. The Can-Am Spyder is all about performance, comfort, and sophistication, giving you the ultimate riding experience. See the 2022 Can-Am Spyder today at Olive Branch Motorsports, 5656 Goodman Road.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Couple of more notes out of NFL training camps. The Patriots stuff is very bizarre. Bill Belichick, we know that Josh McDaniels is out of the door, and they're still trying to find a way to replace him. But the Patriots have released all of the titles of all of their assistants, and they still have no one listed as an offensive or defensive coordinator. And Bill Belichick continues to say, well, we're not big on titles. We don't really care about this.
Who's the special teams coach?
But at the same time, I think you need some leadership.
Do we have offensive line title?
We have Matt Patricia, offensive line.
So really,
Joe Judge, quarterback coach. Joe Judge, quarterback coach. They just don't have offensive or defensive coordinator listed. And I'm sorry, I think that's a big deal. And Bill Belichick's not going to make it a big deal, but that's a big deal. He hasn't. When was the last time, by the way, he had to deal? It would be back when Josh McDaniels was coaching the Broncos, right? Last time he dealt without Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator. So he has not.
That was Bill O'Brien, wasn't it?
For that brief time, yes. And they honestly were better offensively at that time. But
so he's had Charlie Weiss, Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniels. Was Brian Daboll was never offensive coordinator then?
No, but that's what he's dealt with, and now nobody listed. Nobody listed.
Well, then nobody can be blamed.
And if it's the brainchild, and the two names that kept coming up were Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. If it is the brainchild of Matt Patricia and Joe Judge calling the plays, I just don't believe in it. Don't believe the Patriots offense can do very much.
He's the ultimate defensive guy.
But he also went on to praise Mac Jones for dramatic improvement this offseason. Looks like he dropped a little bit of weight. And for him, dramatic improvement is strictly neck up, really. Like, yes, he can improve the body. He can try to be a little bit better. He can. I don't know if he has that. He doesn't have the ball that he can. He can't really uncork it 60 yards downfield. That's not really what he does.
He let it go pretty good, but no, he doesn't have.
He's very steady, and he can make what you need. He does what you need him to do.
Really, check downs are pretty good with adequate protection.
Yeah, all that Bill Belichick and that Patriots offense is going to ask him to do is read the defense, take what they're giving you.
It's going to be tough.
Don't
for
do
them
anything
to go to the
too
playoffs.
crazy.
They did last year. It'll be hard for them to have one of those spots.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know that. I don't know if they can squeeze out 10-7.
Yeah, we'll see. It's still Bill Belichick in the end of the day, and that's the only thing that's sort of holding them together. The only thing that gets them preseason expectation is Bill Belichick at this moment.
Now, we're not talking about the total legacy, but just for right now, did that playoff exit knock a little something off that?
No.
That was ugly.
No.
They didn't even compete.
No. It's still, yeah, we're talking about, what, 6 rings?
No, I'm talking about in the short term. I know it doesn't in the long term, but for this year, how that ended last year was pretty ugly.
How many people, and this is, I'm on this, I'm right there with this school of thought, getting to 10-7 and getting that team into the playoffs?
I agree.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's bigger than how they exited.
I think that in NFL circles, the more you look at Bill Belichick, not the coach, but if you look at Bill Belichick, the GM, and the draft picks he's made and the decision-making he's had in the offseason, letting Stephon Gilmore walk for nothing, all of these different things.
It's been a team.
Right? But at the same time, I think there's a little bit lost there. I think people are starting to catch the idea of Bill Belichick, the GM, not being what we've cracked him up to be.
Down at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, you can see all the incredible pre-owned trucks and SUVs at All-Star, and some nice Ram trucks as well. They have Laramie's Bighorns, look like they've barely been driven. Jeeps, Grand Caravans, and an Audi Q7. If you want any pre-owned Silverado or certified pre-owned Silverado, head to All-Star down Highway 78, first exit into Mississippi at Kraft Goodman Road. Seriously, Jeff and Kevin have been spot on getting all these, and they've got even more on the way in Olive Branch. Crew cabs, double cabs, high country, some nice Tahoes as well. Kevin and Jeff asked me to give a big shout-out to all of you who chose All-Star as the go-to place to sell your vehicle. So many at All-Star on sale today. If you want to sell any vehicle, you can. Bring it to Olive Branch and get a check today, even if you owe money on it. You don't have to buy a thing. You can pre-order and any new Chevy you want right there at All-Star. Remember, it's not the Pike. It's not South Haven. It's not Bartlett, Collierville, or Mount Moriah. It's got to be All-Star Chevrolet at Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Now, there was another interesting note out of 49ers camp. There was a meeting between John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, and Jimmy G this morning. Jimmy G's just been cleared to start throwing the ball, and they've been trying to trade him and seeing what's going to go on with the trade market. Seems a little late for that. I don't know what the situation is going to end up being, but we're in camp now, and Jimmy G would have to learn very quickly wherever he landed. But they came out of that meeting, and Kyle Shanahan went straight to the reporters, and they asked him about the question, okay, who's going to be the quarterback of this team? And he officially said this morning that the 49ers have moved on to Trey Lance.
And won't trade Deebo Samuel.
And I think that sort of ran
that helps
course.
Trey Lance.
Yes. I look at Trey Lance, and there's a lot that's been made in the offseason of his readiness to actually take over. But his skill set's fantastic. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be asked to do all that much. They have a very run-first offense, really good O-line. They have good weapons on the outside. Ayuk, Deebo Samuel.
They're not going to put it on him.
And I think if they do put it on his shoulders, I think he can handle it to a certain extent.
I think it's a little like Kansas City. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Mahomes, but a little like them moving on from
Alex Smith
to Patrick Mahomes.
It's been overplayed, though, this offseason, right? Like, I think a lot of people have been asking the question too much, and there's been a lot of, and I'm going to put air quotes here, reporting about how Trey Lance isn't ready and how Trey Lance, hasn't really gotten the locker room on his side yet. I think that's all overblown and ridiculous.
Well, Shanahan knows better than the reporters.
Of course.
And I think he's great.
I would look at Trey Lance this year as a potential, like, breakout star type of player. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but with what that team is and what he's going to be asked to do, I think he could be that guy.
Again, similarity to Mahomes in Kansas City. He always finds Kelsey. Find Kittle.
Yeah, find Kittle, find
Kittle,
Debo.
Get it to Debo.
Yes.
And then that'll loosen it up.
And then run stretch play after stretch play after stretch play behind that big old line with Trent Williams on the left side. They're
then
good.
line up my man at fullback.
Juszczyk. Your guy. Juszczyk. Now,
well, that would be a high hard one. Spell it Juszczyk. Oh, man.
Juszc. That's where
I'm not checking. There's an S in there somewhere.
YK. I don't know.
There's the S in Juszczyk somewhere. Isn't it? I think we probably need to get it in front of us if we're trying to spell it.
I gotta find this. This is unbelievable. Here it is.
I don't even know how to put it in the search. I can't spell it.
Juszczyk.
Oh, wow.
I would have never got that. That's ridiculous. Come on.
Mind blowing.
That's not it. Juszczyk. That's pretty. That
makes spelling Krzyzewski look easy.
Not a lot of A-E-I-O-U. Not a lot of vowels in there, huh? Just one.
Wow.
Just got our U. And then Y sometimes, right? So he's got a Y.
Love a fullback.
How about that? Now, I don't think he'll be on the MVP in the odds this year, Kyle Juszczyk, although he's your personal MVP. MVP odds have come out on BetMGM. And pretty normal. Josh Allen leads, plus 700.
Brady.
Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, both at plus 800. I was interested to see Aaron Rodgers as far down as he was, right there by Justin Herbert at plus 900. He's back-to-back.
What are the Dak odds?
Dak odds plus 1,200.
Just a flyer? You wouldn't take it, Bryant?
Well, Dak and Joe Burrow both at,
yes.
Dak and Joe Burrow both at plus 1,200, so he's got the same as Joe Burrow.
What about Tua?
Stafford, I don't know. That's way down there. Stafford, Russell Wilson plus 1,400. And then the two highest odds, or shortest odds, I should say, for non-quarterbacks. This has really become a quarterback award. Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor at plus 5,000. Plus 5,000. That's insane. That's insane. Now let's go ahead and put a wrap on hour number 2. Hour number 3 is on the way, and we're going to stick right here. Coming up next, we bring on Bo Marchand from collegeofpro.com and from Sports Illustrated.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Have you been looking for a cigar lounge that's laid back and offers style and a full bar and a great selection of cigars? Now let me tell you about the G-Spot Cigar Lounge, Memphis' premier cigar lounge offering a wide selection of cigars, open 7 days a week starting at 12 noon for your smoking pleasure. Come kick back, enjoy a beer or a cocktail and a cigar while watching sports on one of their several TVs. G-Spot Cigar Lounge on Instagram and Facebook at the G-Spot Memphis, located at 6135 Mount Moriah Road, Suite 116.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new regenerative treatments available here. Hi, this is Greg Gaston. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, is now open, giving lasting relief to people with joint pain, using the latest in precision medicine with natural biologics. It's an exciting non-surgical approach that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints and get you moving again.
QC Kinetics has over 100 clinics nationwide and has treated thousands of patients with an incredible success and satisfaction rate. If you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, you need to check out these new treatments. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, no surgery. Call now to schedule your free consultation with the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Do you have nightmares about your finances? Are you struggling to save for emergencies? Are you wanting to buy a home and not sure how to get the funds to do so? Well, it's time to get a handle on your finances with a personalized session with Nicasia, your money coach and certified personal financial counselor with Tate Enterprise. She is available to help you create your vision of financial freedom. It all starts by booking your session today at NicasiaTate.com. That's NAKASIA Tate.com.
It's time to take it on at Gossett Mitsubishi's summer sales event. You need a new ride? We Gossett covered. Don't fret about gas mileage on your summer vacation. Get 39 MPG combined with 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $219 a month or $17,015. Take sporty to a new level with 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. 28 MPG combined, $349 a month or buy for $27,335. Plus, 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, 7 seats, $409 a month or $31,795. And get peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months of 3.69. Mirage NH00 6956. MSRP 17515. Eclipse PZ 00747. MSRP 28085. Outlander NZO 78023. MSRP 32295. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Is your air conditioning system struggling to keep up this summer? It may just need a tune-up. Good news, it's super tune-up time at Conway Services. We'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-up on your air conditioning system for only $69. And if you have an air conditioner that leaks Freon every year, we'll include a leak check at no charge.
License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
You drove it, you love it. What more do you need to know?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 3 is here. Sports Time on Sports 56. Gabe and Stats with you. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. Producing the program on the ones and twos. The man, the myth, the living legend. He is Bryant Dacus. And joining us via the AutoZone phone line is our man, Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com and from Sports Illustrated at Bo Marchant on Twitter. Bo, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How's the day treating you, gentlemen?
It's treating me well now that we have all 32 training camps going. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Summer is officially over. I hate to break it to everybody, but camps are open, and now it's the whirlwind to the Hall of Fame a week from now or 2 weeks from now. And then
a week.
Boom.
A week?
Yeah,
we're here?
Yeah, August 4th, and boom, we're here, man. It's football season. It's hard to believe, but that's what football does. It sneaks up on us, and then it stays with us.
Does that mean the hot weather's over?
No, but football is coming.
It is. Both this morning on television, I on morning TV, on NFL shows, NFL camp driven, I heard this, and then I said it earlier today, that the Steelers will be better at quarterback this coming season than they were last year, and it's just how it played out for Ben Roethlisberger. Do you believe that? Do you think they'll be better at quarterback this year without Big Ben?
I do think they'll be better at quarterback without Big Ben, but I think there are some other key components. I think the line will be better, so that will be more beneficial than Najee Harris, who enters years 2, more of a leadership role. You have, Deontay Johnson, you have Claypool, you got those guys, coming back. You got George Pickens, second-round pick out of Georgia. So I think the team will be better, which I think will translate into better quarterback play. But I think it was obvious to all of us that Ben stayed a little bit longer than he should have, and and to his credit though, they were a one-dimensional team. They had trouble running the football, even though Najee Harris was fabulous. But Ben was past his prime, and just too much of too little, if you could put it that way, in terms of what Ben needed to do, and there wasn't a lot of help surrounding him.
Do you think they have one of the most, the Steelers, do you think they have one of the most underrated wide receiver cores? Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and we'll see what happens with him, but I really like the skill set of George Pickens.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a bunch that needs to play a little smarter. I think Chase Claypool led the NFL in personal foul penalties with 16. I think Deontay Johnson was close to second or third. So I think those mistakes, those on-field mistakes that cost your team in critical moments, I think are important. Talent-wise, I think that they can be, as good as one of, arguably one of the better groups in the NFL. I think you could put them in the top 10 of receiving groups. Everybody's excited about Pickens. He hasn't played, but nonetheless, there's just a lot of intangibles he has. If it wasn't for the ACL tear his final year at Georgia, people would assume that he would have been a surefire first-round pick. He slipped to the second, but nonetheless, that hampered his draftability just a tad. But it's a good group. Just left camp, just checked into my hotel. Just spoke with Tomlin. There's a good vibe, and as Tomlin said, without Roethlisberger, he's excited and scared at the same time. Which I think he knew what he had since he got there, and now, but he said he likes challenges. So, and that's on behalf of all the Steelers. But I'm telling you guys, there's just a fabulous vibe right now within the team. You just kind of sense a refreshed. I mean, you can't probably talk to a guy where you get young team, new beginnings, fresh start. It's just a lot of positive. There's like a rebirth here. So, I don't know if that translates to wins. If they're 1-5, then nobody will care if they're young. They'll just care that they're a bad football team. But right now, in the opener of camp, it seems like a very positive place to be.
A little bit later in this segment, we will pick our quarterbacks and rank them in the AFC South. And one of those quarterbacks you'll see next Thursday night at Fawcett Stadium in Canton, you'll see Trevor Lawrence. If you blink, you're going to miss him because he's going to play early, and they're going to get him out of there. How long does Carr play next Thursday night? And then I'll ask you another question about Carr.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play. I don't think either one of those guys will play much.
Two drives?
Opinion. Yeah, I don't even think that. Usually a lot of those guys don't even see the field. I can't remember the last time I was in Canton for a Hall of Fame game where a guy with some real substance in terms of importance to the team was out there. So, it's coach's decision, but I would be reluctant to think that, those guys are out there for, if one series, if that, I think might be a series too long, but we'll see. But I'm just excited that it's so close.
So much summertime conversation around Derek Carr, and it's really been since Devontae Adams, his college teammate at Fresno, his offseason workout partner through the years, even when Adams was in Green Bay. His comments, he tried to enlighten us some on it, I think made it worse with the explanation of the day. Basically, he's supporting his quarterback, and he should do that. But for Derek Carr to lead the Raiders to a Super Bowl, can he? Is that in him?
You know what? Who would have thought Jim Plunkett would have led them to a Super Bowl?
Two of them.
2 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 of them. So anything's possible. He's another. There was a point we know a few years back when Amari Cooper was there, Khalil Mack. They looked like the McKenzie brothers. GM coaches. They looked poised to be one of the up-and-coming teams. Derek Carr was on MVP level. It looked like they were on the rise. And then, it just kind of fell apart. They got rid of guys, and then they went to a total rebuild. So, I think Derek Carr can play as good as any quarterback on a given day. It's just that consistency. I would like to compare him a little bit to a Matthew Stafford in the sense of, we know he spent so many years in Detroit. He gets 1 year with Los Angeles, and he ends up with the Super Bowl. I'm not saying if Derek Carr was with the Rams, that's the same ending to the story, but I just don't think anyone would look around what the Raiders have supported him with and said, hey, Derek Carr should be putting up, these elite numbers with some of the other quarterbacks. So, some quarterbacks can make more on play, with like the Patrick Mahomes, the Aaron Rodgers, guys that can just do things singularly. Josh Allen, where, when the play breaks down, they become magical. I don't know if that's Derek Carr's forte. But I just think if they surround him with enough weapons, and it looks ample right now when you kind of look at it on paper, that he should kind of flourish in that system. Josh McDaniels, second crack, at a head coaching job, absent of the job that he, turned down in, Indianapolis that he took. So you could say 3 technically, but, a job that he'll actually show up for.
But he's been so steady. I mean, we can say what we want about that team not being good year in, year out, but he's been a guy who you can trust every single year. Now, this offseason, obviously adding Devontae Adams, re-signing Hunter Renfrow, doing things like that. They went and got Chandler Jones to come off one of those edges. I have seen 2 different schools of thought on the Raiders this year. And you look at the AFC West and how good it is. They have the longest odds to actually win that division if you look at Vegas. So I guess the question here would be, do you think they're getting too much credit or not enough?
I've heard, I forget, somebody was talking about that question a couple weeks ago, and I think it's fair on both sides. If you're sleeping on the Raiders, there's a lot of things that say, hey, look at what they've done. And then on the opposite, you can say, well, it's just on paper. I think it'd be hard to imagine they're not going to be a better football team. I think with, you mentioned the addition of Chandler and then you got, Crosby. You're talking about very 2 potent pass rushers. They got some good back end guys. I know Abrams is more of a in the box safety, but they like that type of style. I think offensively, they're going to have to get up on teams early and allow them just to kind of manage the game and let those defensive guys just kind of fly to the ball. I don't think they'll be a good team where you want to get them pinned down early and let that defense not let those guys be able to kind of fly to the ball. I think if they got a little bit of lead, it maximizes what Crosby and, Chandler can do. But they're going to be in the mix. And when you look at the whole entire, landscape of the AFC West, I think at this point, the Chiefs, even despite that they were so close to a Super Bowl, things went sour for them against the Cincinnati Bengals. Mahomes struggled. He needs to play better. And we saw those struggles. You got Russell Wilson coming into Denver. We all know that. You got Carr with this amped up offense. And then you got Justin Herbert sitting there in, Los Angeles and, a ton of weapons, more, tenure in his game. So I put Derek Carr right in the mix with all those guys. I think really at the end of this day, it's going to be some tight games, maybe the ball, a bad call. One of those things will foul up one of these teams in order for them to kind of jockey in front of one another when the final standing set in the AFC West. I think it's going to be a very tightly contested division in the NFL.
I'm with you. Let them play from ahead, and you're playing with trouble because when they go to just ground and pound, and it's not just Josh Jacobs, it's the SEC All-Stars at running back, Kenyon Drake, Zamir White from Georgia, and old man football from Ole Miss, Brandon Bolden, who's been on a bunch of winning teams in New England. If they get ahead, they will wear you out on 3rd and 4. And where's it coming from? Is it coming from the running game or to Darren Waller or the Mr. Possession receiver, Hunter Renfrow?
Yeah, Brandon, I'm glad you brought up Brandon Bolden because that's one of those guys, longtime Patriot, one of them grinders, one of those guys that does everything you ask. And I just thought the addition of him with McDaniels is kind of bringing some of that patriotism. Yeah, you're just kind of setting a guy that can maybe help set the tone, help kind of deliver your message to those guys when they're in their own personal team meetings and kind of get something resonated with the guys so they can call and follow with the plan. But I'm glad you brought him up because it's a name that, not a lot of people are going to care about when we talk about you want your Adams and Renfrow and Waller. But those are the guys, those under-the-radar guys that mean a lot to how a team performs on Sunday.
Bo, I do a segment on the Ole Miss Network post-game Rebels in the NFL. I don't care if Brandon Bolden, if he has one screen pass for 11 yards, I make sure to get it in for him.
When you're the host, you can do those things. I think we all try to do that. If you're writing a story and there's something you kind of want to sneak in there, you can always get a guy. Yeah, but that's one of the bonuses if you can be heard.
If he tips the ball on a punt, and he's had block punts and scooping scores, I get it in.
Yeah, so and Foster Moreau, the LSU. They got a lot of sneaky guys on that. And they traded Brian Edwards. A lot of people were super excited about Edwards. He goes off to Atlanta, I believe. So, he was a guy that people were super excited about, and it's just one of those guys that they were fortunate enough. I shouldn't say fortunate enough, but they had they felt deep enough offensively to say, hey, we can move on from this guy.
And it's funny to me, like being the nerd I am and just seeing these guys and how they've actually, the arc of their careers. I saw them sign Keelan Cole and Mac Hollins and got excited. Behind Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Demarcus Robinson, Darren Waller, to have two guys like that as your fifth, sixth target, I mean, that's fantastic, too.
And Devontae Adams indoors. We're not talking about out at Lambeau anymore.
Right.
Yeah, he should thrive. I mean, you know what I mean? They're going to pay him to thrive. So, the game plan should be circled about feeding him the ball a lot. But a lot of mouths to feed between Waller, Renfrow. And we know he's that second coming of that, that Cooper Kupp type of guy. And, and then you got Adams, who is arguably just, one of the best in the league.
Now, talking with Bo Marchant at Bo Marchant on Twitter from collegepro.com and from Sports Illustrated. How do we view this Kyler Murray contract? $230.5 million, second most on a per year basis for any quarterback, any player, but any quarterback in the NFL. And then we see this addendum that's in it. That's really unheard of, and you know this as well as I do, Bo. Yeah. 4 hours of independent study per game week should be done, no doubt. How do we view this as a whole? It's
just a great contract by his agent. I mean, it's just kind of, you have to give money somewhere, so you kind of sneak it into different little places to say, hey, he's asked to earn it. We're not just giving it to him. We know this. I always say Kirk Cousins was kind of the first one to start this. He was getting the $30 million a year, and at the time, no other quarterbacks were making that type of money. We saw the money Watson got. We saw the money that, Mahomes got when he first signed the deal. And then, whatever quarterback's going to be up next, I'm not saying anything that anyone doesn't know. Whatever quarterback is up next is going to see a hefty raise. Yep. As the cap gets larger, these guys are going to keep earning more and more money. And I'm sure you read the same reports. Patrick Mahomes has said he's very content. He has enough money to be a happy man. But, as these contracts keep escalating,
it's going to look like a discount.
Yeah, truly. And it just say 5 years from now, if Mahomes is playing at the level he is, if not better, there's going to be a point where he might have to say, listen, I'm the 18th highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. We need to revisit this contract. It's off on the horizon, but it'll be here quicker than you could realize because it won't take, a few more seasons. Burrow got to sign a new contract. Herbert got to sign a new contract. Lamar Jackson has yet to sign his contract.
They can't spend all the money.
Yeah, so these guys...
It's got to go to the players.
Yeah.
But, Bo, you'll get to see the Raiders next week in Canton. You'll get to see them late in the year. You'll see them on Christmas Eve when the Raiders are in Pittsburgh playing the Steelers, and that will be 50th. That'll be the 50th anniversary of the Franco catch and a day. That occurred on 12/23/72. But 50 years and a day later, I hope they bring back all the old Raiders like Phil Villapiano, who still thinks they got robbed.
Yeah, well, it hurts. And, it's funny is I told you, the one time Rocky Blyer spoke to us before a game, I really never realized the just pure dislike between the Raiders and the Steelers. And I know reading that I've come to know it now, but I'm reading the Jack Tatum book. There's about 3-4 chapters on just him basically disliking every Steeler that wore the black and gold. And, if you weren't in the silver and black, it was a war, but it should be a good game. And then the one thing is
each other to court.
The Raiders always have their number. The Raiders, even despite some of the awful teams that they've had over the years, you go back and look at the record. The Steelers do not have a lot of fortune playing the Raiders and coming out with the victory. So that's just something to keep in your back pocket. When it gets closer, I'll probably shoot some numbers at you, but the overall record, especially with Roethlisberger, the Raiders, and that whole, team for team thing, at least since I've been around covering the Steelers, the Raiders have really got the best of them with some awful Raider teams.
The Franco catch made it all worth it forever and ever. And the Raiders, they were trying it. They went to court over it. They were trying to kill Lynn Swann.
Yeah, that was vicious. And it's great, Brett. If you read the Assassin book by Jack Tatum, he basically calls him, he's over-exaggerated. I don't understand what the gist was. We get a bad reputation. He's not a man. Just kind of like, Jack, that was kind of violent,
Kinda.
But real quick, too, and not to get off subject, but, just because we live in the modern age of football, reading that particular book, and the last thing I'll say about that book, in that book, to say it was, in the 70s, he was talking about quarterbacks being protected too much, and that was where the NFL was going. And you think almost 3, 4, 5, 6 decades later, I don't know how long that was, 40, 50 years ago.
We're there.
And we're there. But even back then, the wheels were in motion that you got to protect the guy under the center.
Yeah, and you should. And I think a lot of what was done to quarterbacks in that era was unnecessary, and I hate to see them now so debilitated from it. Let's rank quarterbacks for this year in the AFC South. Bo, you go first. That's Colts, Jags, also that's Titans and Texans. What's your order?
Yeah, first of all, this was one of the hardest ones because I'm not happy about anybody. I'd just like to just not have any quarterback from the AFC South. But I'm going to go Ryan 1, and I don't like it. I'm going to go Tannehill 2, and I don't like that one either. I'm going to throw a little one in here because I'm really I love Mills, third-round pick out of Stanford. I thought he played really, really good. And then, I didn't like him coming out. I thought he did nothing. Gardner Minshew did more his rookie there than Trevor Lawrence. So
wow.
I'm putting him at the bottom. So.
Wow.
Hey,
the guy who did, there was no incompletions at the first day of camp today. Come on.
Yeah.
Have you read your reports? We got to read our reports coming out of camp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No incompletions at camp. I mean, 71 quarterback rating as a rookie.
Get the Canton speech ready.
Hey, 100% completion percentage at camp. Come on. Day one.
Well, but you know what it is? If I don't say it now, nobody's going to remember if I get it right, but at least you guys are. I guarantee if we're talking Trevor Lawrence for MVP, you guys will be, having some fun with it as we go throughout the 2022 season. So.
At the end of the year, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best quarterback in this division. Gabe, your list.
I don't quite agree with that, but you know what's funny about the Jags is you go out and you get all these guys, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, all these guys that have done. Christian Kirk's done a fair amount in his career, but Zay Jones, these other guys, Evan Ingram, have fallen off a cliff. They don't have a one receiver. They literally just have a bunch of 2 and 3 wide receivers.
They really have a 2.
Yeah, is it really? I would say Christian Kirk's a fan. It's an okay 2, but they don't have a number 1 wide receiver, and they spent a whole lot of money.
They have nobody that would start Game 7 of the World Series at receiver, Bo.
That's a great way to put it. But that's what when you're a bad team, like I said earlier, when they signed Kirk to these goofy contracts, when you're a bad football team, you got to entice them with more money than, say, if the Chiefs wanted them or you're going to go play with Aaron Rodgers. You're going to a dismal team in Jacksonville, not a lot of fanfare. You're in Europe half the season and you struggle. And we know it's a bad franchise. A lot of first round picks end up dysfunctional and they're jettisoned off. So, a lot goes into it. Hey, the sky's up for Jacksonville, put it that way. They can't get any worse.
So I go 1, Matt Ryan, and I think people need to give Matt Ryan his proper respect. This is a former MVP, and he's been very consistent in his career, even though last few years in Atlanta have been ugly. They didn't have any type of defense. If they had some type of defense, Bo, they could have been competing in that division, but they just didn't.
Offense.
Right. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence. I go Trevor Lawrence. I put him high on this list. I think he's going to have a step up in the right direction this year. And from a talent perspective, I think he has a lot of it. 3, Ryan Tannehill. And then 4, he had a good year last year, but I really think it was just sort of a flash in the pan. I like Davis Mills. I want to try to like Davis Mills, but I feel like I've seen this type of guy way too often to really buy into it fully. I don't know if he has the right direction with the Texans right this second. I feel like he's the type of guy that may have a good year, a decent year 1, decent year 2, but by the time we get to about year 4, year 5, he'll probably be delegated to be a backup in this NFL. That's how I feel about Davis Mills.
Man, you could be very well right. I would not put it this way. I would not be surprised. I don't like anybody in the division. I'm not going to lie. I don't like any of them.
Right.
So, I don't mean to be harsh. I just, the Matt Ryan, we did the Phillip Rivers, we did the Carson Wentz. I love both of those maneuvers. I love both of those guys that they brought in. And I love that when they bring Matt Ryan in, I just kind of think, am I getting snookered in again than thinking this is going to be, the smart move for Chris Ballard. Hope it is, because I want to see that team succeed. I just, and look at, Ryan and Tannehill, he already kind of had that, that firecracker season. Now he's kind of taking that step backwards. So Malik Willis, is there a point where he starts? So, but go ahead.
He is not a mentor. Ryan Tannehill is not a mentor.
And you don't want
him. Hey, he's not a mentor. Let's make it very clear.
For mine.
Number 4, Davis Mills. Number 3, Trevor Lawrence. 2, Ryan Tannehill. 1, Matt Ryan.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going to go 1, Matt Ryan, And it's not just meritorious service, but going into this year more expected, and I think he's got a better cast of characters. Number 2, you know this isn't meritorious service. Trevor Lawrence, 3, Davis Mills, 4, last. Ryan Tannehill.
Dang.
I can't get the
No
players
respect.
out.
None at all.
I mean, he's great handing the ball to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he was decent in play action until he played the Bengals. And then he just started throwing it to our team.
Decent in play action because he's good at handing the ball to Derrick Henry.
With you.
Well, I think we're all on to something because this was our most diverse list of 4 quarterbacks. I think, for most of them, one of us might have had one off the name, but for the most part, we're kind of all singular in the same thing.
Yeah.
This one, all across the board, none of us had anything close basically to the same. So I think that does kind of speak volumes where there's a lot of question marks surrounding
these will
all
be
4 of these
reviewed after the season.
Yeah.
We're going to go back and check everybody's work.
Nice.
Yeah,
holding you to it.
Anything I get graded on, Brett, it's going to be an F. So I can tell you right now.
Rock on. But not this segment. We appreciate your segment. Bo, thanks, man.
And thank you again for last week.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kind words. And we were able to get the commissioner in. Thank you for doing that, and I'm glad you listened. Thank you.
Yeah, I did. I listened in. Yeah, I told Brett, Gabe, you guys did a great job. I really enjoyed it. So
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bo. Have
Thanks, Bo.
a great week, and we'll talk next week when you're getting ready to go to Canton.
Yeah, I'll be in Canton Thursday, so a little preview for the Hall of Fame.
Rock on.
Thank you, Bo.
All right. Stay safe, gentlemen.
We will.
You
Bo
too.
Marchant with us every single Tuesday all the way through the year, talking the number one sport in the country, and that's the NFL. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, all checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, head to toe, and an unlimited inventory at DeSoto Auto Sales. Every make, every model. If by chance it's not on the lot, they'll find that special car just for you. When you walk in, you'll be treated like family at DeSoto Auto Sales by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. They care about your time. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today where time really matters, and that's why they have simplified and streamlined the process so thoroughly for you. You find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed. You're out of there in 45 minutes or less. Air conditioning on high, leaving there right now at DeSoto Auto Sales. 5704 Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We have some Tigers scheduling news to get to, football and basketball. We'll do that on the other side right here on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Hey, I got one of my best customers, Mark, here.
Hey, Montana.
Hey, Mark, tell Sports 56 fans the deal of the century that I gave you at Sleep Cheap.
Yeah, I just bought the whole family some new mattresses. Our backs thank you. Easy professional people to work with, good quality mattresses and box springs, and they under-promised and over-delivered. We got the Sports 56 deal. The hybrid mattress and box springs regularly $1,000 for $599, and the wife and I got the king-size mattress normally $1,500 for $999.
Mark, it was a pleasure working with you. Glad you and your family are happy with the quality of our memory foam. Now I'm extending this manager's suite deal to my fellow Sports 56 fans. Check out our 3 locations, 6330 Winchester, Memphis, 1069 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, and West Memphis, 1701 North Missouri Street. Also wanted to let you know Sleep Cheap mattress sets starting at $199 to $4,000. We have twin XLs, queen, king, California King, we got it all. And again, guys, take advantage of this sweet Sports 56 hybrid mattress queen box deal. Normally $1,000, we got it for $599. We also have the King, normally $1,500, selling for $999. See y'all at Sleep Cheap.
When Chef Ryan Trim decided to open 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, he was determined to make every single aspect of your experience at Prime something unique. You've heard of the huge selection of wine and bourbons at Prime, but they even brought in experts to create cocktails you literally cannot get anywhere else. The Straw Hat with Belvedere Vodka, the Borrowed Trinket with Monk's Road Barrel Aged Gin. That's just 2 of them. There are far too many to be listed here. If you want to try the rest, all you have to do is go to 117 Prime.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. Have you been turned down by your homeowner's insurance in the past 12 months for damage you believe you're owed? Call Brian Elder Roofing now. Our professionals will do a no-obligation, thorough evaluation of your property and document all damage we find. Our fully certified Hague inspectors are trained to identify storm damage to assess and build a full estimate in a language your carrier will understand. If there is no damage found, we will tell you just that. We build a data file of your actual storm damage for your carrier, all at no cost to you, free. So call now for your comprehensive roof guarantee from Brian Elder Roofing. Call us, 867-0303. That's 867-0303, or schedule online at brianelderroofing.com. Because if you think it's a claim, we'll help you show it's a claim.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And it's now available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hi, this is Greg Gaston. I'm talking about new therapies, advanced all-natural biologics, regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in precision regenerative medicine with over 100 clinics across America and literally thousands of satisfied patients. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy options that can change your life. Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation with local medical professionals. Call 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them a unique landscape stone center? They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes, all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover, plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
This is a damn fine automobile, if you want my honest opinion.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe. And with Stats, I'm Gabe. He's Stats. About 5:32. About time for a little bit of dinner, and it's a Tuesday. So you know what that means. It is Taco Tuesday. Get over to Humdinger's right this second. Humdinger's Restaurant, East Memphis, Poplar at Masti, 6300 Poplar Avenue, Suite 101. And fish, shrimp, chicken, tacos, all $2 a piece today for Taco Tuesday. Get over there. Take advantage of it. I'm telling you right now, because the one thing that Humdinger's does better than anybody in town, and you can ask around town as well, they have food that's both good and it's fantastic for you.
Put the lemon herb peri-peri sauce on your tacos.
Lemon herb. You can get
Veteran move.
you get the mild, you can get the medium, you can get the spicy. I enjoy the spicy one, to be honest with you, but it's a vet move to put all that peri-peri sauce on the taco. But again, $2 tacos, fish, shrimp, and chicken. You can't beat that anywhere around town. To call them right now, 901-260-8292 to get 901-260-8292. Call right this second and pick it up at 6300 Poplar Avenue, Suite 101. And they also want me to highlight for you their Fit Fresh Meal Prep. If you want them to prep some meals for you, if you don't have a chance at work to get all of that done, they will get it done for you. Give them a call. Also, corporate catering with a healthy approach. They'll handle that for you. Shrimp and grits, they have added to the menu. And also, fish and chips. They have Taco Tuesday. They also have Fish and Chips Friday. Fish and chips on Friday will be $8.99. They're passing out deals weekly, and they're giving you good food that's good for you. Again, that number, 901-260-8292. Go pick up that food, 6300 Poplar Avenue, Suite 101, Poplar at Massey. That is Humdinger's. Taco Tuesday's fantastic.
It is.
Love getting over there for it. Now, before we get into the Tigers scheduling, it's watch list season, everyone's favorite season. We're not quite into college football camps yet. But
just to get the email on all the watch lists.
I love watch lists. I was a part of a couple. Never won an award.
Got a vote though.
Yeah, got an Outland Trophy award vote, and it was from a big AAC guy. It was kind of like a lifetime achievement award, but I'm not going to take away from myself. I don't want to take away from myself on this beautiful Tuesday. But Quindell Johnson, who junior going on his senior year now, 6'1", 205-pound safety that the Tigers have relied on for a while now. He got named to the Thorpe Award watch list and the Nagurski Award watch list. And he's going to be a guy they have to really rely on this year. I mean, he's so far in his career. Last year, 104 tackles, 4.5 for loss, had a sack, a lot of passes defended. In his career, 6 INTs. He's a guy, too, if you look at NFL draft, scouts, and when they look at the University of Memphis, he is the name that comes up consistently, and he's been doing it.
And it's a guy, opening night, a lot will be asked of, going against that air raid, going against Will Rogers, going against Mike Leach. You kind of know what they're going to do, and then we know week 2, the contrast will be going to Navy, and you know what they're going to do, but it won't be what State's doing.
Yep, and also Nick Broker gets a nod for the Outland Award watch list. There we go.
He's that good kind of nasty. I love how physical he is and the big voice that he's had almost from day one in that offensive line room. And it was fun to see him last week making the rounds representing Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the Tigers football scheduling front, and I loved this. I loved the home and home we had when I was there. But home and home with Middle Tennessee
makes sense.
I like it. September 28th, 2024 will be the first of the home and home. It'll be in Memphis at Liberty Stadium. And then the return trip to Murfreesboro will be September 25th, 2027.
I had to correct the Arkansas guys. It is Simmons Bank at Liberty Field. And the Arkansas guys wanted to call it a bunch of other things. But and they should know, because Simmons based in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, with a corporate tower in downtown Little Rock. And the Tiger future scheduling is really locked up.
Yeah, there's not much they can do. They got Arkansas coming up, Mizzou.
Well, we got a year we got
Florida
Arkansas
State,
and Arkansas State,
Boise State. It's all over the place, and I like that they're locking it up. And I enjoy very much to have in-state back and forth home and homes.
It's easy for both schools.
It's
3 things missing. In
easy
the
for both schools.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Tennessee.
Yeah,
and that
stinks, but
it really does.
Because
that's practically in-state, kind of.
Well,
one is in-state, Tennessee.
What are you going to do, though?
The other 2, that's right. Yeah. What are you going to do? You can only ask.
Is Rick Stock still? He's still there.
Yeah. Tommy West still there.
He's done a good job. He's done a good job for you. I mean, obviously he's had some down years here and there, but to be there for that long and be relatively consistent, year in, year out, get them to a bowl game.
Stability, proud program.
Mm-hmm. And
what you want.
You're
not going to get it changing coaches every 3 years.
Right. And they've had 10-win years. They've had 8-win years. Mm-hmm. They've been up there. They've gotten it done. But Middle Tennessee, again, home and home with the Tigers. 2024, first game will be in Memphis and then Murfreesboro. in 2027. Now, on the basketball front, the bracket for the 2022 ESPN Invitational is set, and the matchups are finally set. We knew the teams.
Tigers in the premier game on Thanksgiving night.
I completely agree. The matchups: Florida State, Siena; Ole Miss, Stanford; Oklahoma, Nebraska. And then I have to say, this will probably be the prime time later game.
It's 6:30. The times are out.
Yeah, it'll be prime time game, 6:30. Memphis, Seton Hall.
Yeah, and that first game, it kind of goes 11, 1, 4, and 6:30, close approximately that. And Ole Miss in that tournament, those games are on Thanksgiving, on Thursday, and then on Friday, and then no games on Saturday, kind of getting out of the way for the football monster, college football monster, then the games on Sunday. And also yesterday, Texas A&M released their non-conference schedule, and they will come to Memphis on Saturday, December 17th. So here are the first three Saturdays of December. We know Saturday, December 3rd, the Tigers will host Ole Miss at FedEx Forum. Saturday, December 10th, we'll play Auburn in the neutral, not so neutral, at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, right by where we were last week when they play Auburn and Bruce Pearl. And on the 17th, play A&M. Gabe, I'm going to say it. I'm not stacking it. I'm not trying to stack it too high on the Tigers too early. I'm not. Tigers need to go 3-0 in those games. That we learned last year. We learned through the years. You get your net rating juice at that time of year, because when the Tigers settle into that AAC, even with Houston being good, you don't get a lot of traction out of some of those wins. You do a couple of them, but out of some of them you don't. In that Ole Miss, Auburn neutral, and A&M at home, the Tigers are maybe 2-1. Maybe.
You say 3-0, and of course you want to do that. You want to get that done, but expectations.
That sets up automatic. If they go 3-0 in that stretch, that sets up automatic.
But that's certainly a tough expectation to win all three of those games.
Well, two of them are at home. One's on neutral. That's not so neutral.
Yeah, I mean, but no, and their schedule's actually shaping up to be fantastic. It's shaping up to give you a good amount of good looks at potential tournament teams out of conference.
Let me amend. So 2-1 in that 3-gamer, 2-1 at that ESPN tournament around Thanksgiving. That gets you a long way, doesn't it?
Or 3-0 in both. Why not? But I'm just saying. I'm just saying the expectation should be 2-1. I mean, and if you drop a couple, it is what it is. But yeah, that's where they need to get their work done. I completely agree with that sentiment that you're sharing.
To make hay.
Yeah, and the one thing that keeps coming up for me is, I think with this year's team, you need to have more of an expectation of starting fast than in years past.
Have to. I mean, we see the necessity of it.
Well, and also, you don't have a bunch. We're not talking about freshmen. We're not talking about guys reclassifying. We're not talking about 17, 18 years.
We are talking chemistry, but the whole sport's talking
You're
chemistry.
Talking about 22 and 23.
That's not going to be an excuse for anyone. Well, we
they don't know each other
in late February. No. Too late. Too late February.
You're talking about 22 and 23-year-olds. And I think certainly they'll be able to get that done. And I am almost positive when you look at Penny Hardaway and what he's learned over his short sprint here at the University of Memphis, I think he's learned that we got to get it going game one. We have to be clicking then if we want to be clicking later in the season.
The college basketball for most, if not all, of 363 out of college basketball this year will be Monday night, November 7th. We have to get the Grizzlies schedule. We're told that will be probably the second Thursday in August. Then we know we wait. The Tigers have to wait until after the Grizzlies because building availability. Grizzlies go first on that, and they always release first. I'm going to say the Tigers will have full schedule out by the football opener, by the Mississippi State game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Did you see, and I saw this finally today, did you see Rasheed Wallace no longer going to be joining Lakers staff with Darvin Ham?
Yeah, I don't know what's up. I don't know. I don't know. But
I don't want to. I'm not here to speculate.
We know where he was on vac status.
Right.
And how do I say this?
You trying to say something gingerly?
Peculiar guy.
Oh yeah, I think that's fair. But I thought it would be a nice little break for him after how last year went, and the fact that he's not going to be there.
Back into something else.
I don't know what it's going to be,
and
for him going forward.
I don't know what his financial statement looks like, but I would imagine a lot of money still from.
Yeah, no, he's fine.
I mean, he's not needing any of this.
He's
we
fine.
know he likes basketball.
He's fine. I think the staff though for Penny pretty fair. Pretty fair. Frank Hay, Faraji Phillips. I think they're in a good spot.
I feel better about this year for Coach Hardaway and his team than any. Better,
really,
and felt great
even after
last
Wiseman and #1 recruiting class. I don't think I would disagree there
because he's learned that you got to have.
I think,
veterans.
but I think what you're saying is with the benefit of hindsight. I think that's
a lot of hindsight.
I was going to say, but like if you're talking about year-to-year expectations and feeling around the program, this is not the highest of the highs in Penny Hardaway's era.
I mean, nothing can match that golf tournament week last year, which would have been next week.
You thought 30 you thought easily winning the AAC.
I never thought that, but I did think Final Four.
No, okay, #1 recruiting class: James Wiseman, Lester Quinones, Precious Achua. I mean, you certainly thought AAC winning was on the table. You thought winning the AAC was on the table.
I thought it could be really good, but also knew it was going to take a while for that many 5-stars to play well with each other, to get along.
Mm-hmm. I guess so. But this year's team, I feel a different way about.
It's Kendrick Davis's team on the floor.
Yeah, but I don't. The peak for this team. The peak for this team doesn't feel as high, but also the floor for this team feels higher than previous years, just because of the experience you're going to have.
And if I hadn't learned by now, a quick start is vital because last year just limping out.
Mm-hmm. No question. Let's go ahead and get to our final break. When we come back, Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app, or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right up and save money like never before at the Sunrise Chevy Big Top 10 event. See high prices disappear before your very eyes. Huge discounts and factory rebates up to $2,000. Bankrupt, slow pay, bad credit, divorce, it's okay. The Sunrise Chevy team has over $100 million available for immediate financing and wants to get you financed. An $18 million used car inventory specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. The Sunrise Chevy tent sale in Collierville. Find new roads to Collierville, partner.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Your favorite Italian deli, Lucchese's, now ships. For over 25 years, Memphis has trusted Lucchese's to feed their loved ones. And now they've created 4 great comfort food meals that can be shipped across the country to your family and friends. Enjoy lasagna, ravioli, tortellini, spaghetti, Italian spinach, and delicious sauces with no MSGs, no preservatives, and no artificial colors. Lucchese's can ship anywhere in the U.S. All you need to do is go online to lucchese's.com to place your order or call 901-766-9922.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah. 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 I fantasize about this back in Chicago. Mercy, mercy me, that mercy a lie go. That's me the first year that I
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today is that for the FedEx St. Jude Championship, we already have some commitments. Cam Young, of course, in there. Rory McIlroy commits today, and also Scotty Scheffler. And this is just good news all around for the city of Memphis and our tournament. Just considering what you look around the PGA Tour schedule, some of those fields have looked very, very empty and very sad.
To the very few that want to argue that the tournament hadn't stepped up, this is light years up. This would be like getting a college football playoff game is what we have getting in these playoffs. There was a time that any one of those players you just named, that almost would make your marketing for the tournament. There's more on the way.
Yes, and there will be more on the way, especially with those commitments. Also, know what I learned today? Darius Leonard from the Colts. He's no longer Darius Leonard. He wants to be called Shaquille from now on. His name is Darius Shaquille Leonard. Shaquille is his middle name, but his family calls him Shaquille. So he is now Shaquille Leonard, 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, Defensive Rookie of the Year, 163 tackles his rookie year. He is now Shaquille instead of Darius.
We'll call him what he wants to be called. He may be more important on the defensive side for Baltimore, for Indianapolis, than Matt Ryan on the offensive side. What I learned, the contract of Kyler Murray that mandates film study feels like an easy way out for the Cardinals. I don't think that got leaked. I think that got leaked intentionally. I don't think that was accidental whatsoever. I think they wanted that out there to let the public know if he doesn't live up to, or if he doesn't play well, we can use this language maybe to get out of all that money, and that's sorry to do him like that. I hope he overperformed. He better perform, but I hope he really blows it out and performs well, because I can't imagine something like that in Tom Brady's contract.
Well, yeah, but also that does tell you they don't have to worry about that in Tom Brady's contract. So it's pretty sorry, but it's not in anybody else's contract, and it kind of says something about Kyler Murray. At least you think it says something about Kyler Murray. But with what they've done through this whole contract negotiation, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals just tried to throw something in there to make the media turn on him, because they've tried to do that before. Now, what I could have done without Damon Arnett, Ohio State player, former draft pick for the Raiders, got kicked off the Raiders last year for flashing a gun on Instagram. It's just been bad for him. But yesterday it got worse. He was pulled over and arrested in Miami Beach with cocaine and a straw in his pocket. He was pulled over twice in a day yesterday because of a suspended license. And, tough to see a guy sort of be on the top of the mountain, finally get to where he wanted to go in the NFL, and just a monumentous fall off, and did it quickly too.
Yeah, and may not be recoverable at this point in his career. I could have done without the Cardinals, losers of 1 out of 2 in St. Louis in May to Toronto. That was with Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, and they were lucky to win that one. I was there. That was the bottom of the 10th home run for Paul Goldschmidt. They'll be without both of those. I don't know what it's going to come down to at the end to make the playoffs. 1 or 2 games seems very important when you only have about 65 or so left. So tonight and tomorrow night in Toronto, they'll be without those 2 big stars. And there are a lot of hot takes lined up. If they get swept, and it matters in the math at the end of the year, you will have the vax, COVID, data, science crowd out for sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, also, what I could have done without, you see Joe Burrow's getting an appendectomy. Obviously, they expect him to be fine to go, but that's pretty intrusive.
It's surgery.
That's intrusive for him. What I'm looking forward to tonight, and by the way, I mentioned this yesterday. I mentioned that Tony
Do you have
Gonsolin,
your appendix?
Yeah, I do.
I do too. Brian,
do you
still have them?
I hope so.
What is it? It doesn't do anything for us, though, right? It's just Can't you just?
I want everything.
Could you just get it removed, naturally?
I want everything the good Lord sent us here with.
Well, but maybe he had an issue because appendicitis is not a joke. You die
if they
from
rupture, it's sure not.
Yeah, but I said it yesterday. I said Tony Gonsolin was 11-0. First loss last night when I mentioned it.
Countdown is on for the FedEx St. Jude Classic. We will talk more about that as we really build to the tournament coming up. Big Ten Media Days will roll on. More NFL, all NFL camps are open. And Birds and Jays in Toronto tonight. I'm headed to AutoZone Park.
Hey.
No Yachty, no problem. I'll be there tonight.
Subway Series.
Real good in Queens.
Subway Series on TBS at 6:10. Yankees visiting.
The TBS game of the week.
Visiting the Mets.
Is this Matthew Liberatore's last start as a Redbird in the Cardinals organization?
No.
Okay.
But that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to David Cohn, Brent Beard, and Beau Marchand for their contributions to the program. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios. Grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers. Everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
It's the Make This the Summer event, and it's going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. And we're ready and waiting to put you in a new ride today. Can't find the vehicle you've been dreaming about? No worries, Gossett has the solution. Stop the searching. Get to Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, and we'll order your perfect vehicle just for you at no extra charge. Your color, your extras, your perfect vehicle. Gossett will and can order that vehicle just for you. Won't take long, won't break the bank, won't make you wait for hours. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, and you won't be paying for market adjustments or added costs you can't even figure out. You will not pay more than MSRP for your new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, or Fiat. So get to Gossett today and let us put you in the ride of your dreams. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, or shop online GossettMotorcars.net.
Gossett Motor Cars.
All pricing includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Now that the warmer weather has arrived, let Choate's perform their $99 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC ready for the hot summer months ahead. Also, Choate's is offering our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon on our website for you to use. Does your HVAC